He learns a very valuable lesson about priorities from a head coach who knows.
No man is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. The team, the team, the team.
This team had a dream when 1985 opened to bring the glory back to the maize and blue. Behind an offensive line anchored by Bob Tabachino and a heady quarterback named Jim Harbaugh, this offense has found the end zone often enough to win 5 straight. But it's been behind the indomitable spirit of the man they call Bo that a mighty defense has been forged. A defense that has yielded little and literally carried this team to number 2. But to reach the lofty heights of number 1, there remains this challenge. Chuck Long and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They feature an explosive offense built around running back Ronnie Harmon. And the Hawkeyes, too, have a punishing defense. And they also dream of the glory of number 1. 2 teams with the same goal. But there's only room at the top for one. And today, number 2 meets number 1. It's Michigan and Iowa. And here in Iowa City, the mood is like that which precedes a heavyweight championship fight. One of anticipation. The crowd filed in. It has rained heavily here this morning in Iowa City. The Wolverines have just now left their locker room. They have listened to the final words from their head coach, Bo Schembechler. And across the way, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Here the 2 teams are on the field. Who could ask for anything more? We got one squad averaging 44 points a game, the other one giving up only 4.
Well, Brent, I think it's a sensational matchup. Both teams undefeated, both ranked 1 and 2, and statistical leaders, as you have already pointed out. But I think the interesting thing, and the fans should watch, is the offense, the explosive offense of Iowa will go against the tough defense of Michigan. That's the confrontation there. Let's see which one prevails.
You know, frequently, though, Era, it's not the strengths that decides a game of this magnitude.
That's exactly right. When the ball changes hands, it'll be the Michigan offense against the Iowa defense. And Michigan is much improved offensively. They would love the possession of that football to keep it away from Chuck Long and Harmon and keep them over on the bench with Hayden Fry. But you've gotten the mood of the 2 coaches. You talked with them.
Well, you know what I found? I found that Bo Schembechler's more relaxed than Hayden Fry this week.
Well, that surprises me. I'll tell you that. But I have found this, Brent, in games of this magnitude, when you put 2 giants together, that the turnovers and where they occur, the penalties and the kicking game influence the outcome of the game.
The captains proceeding to midfield. The tension building here for the coin flip. What will their strategy be? Some coaches, after they win the flip, automatically defer to the second half. Others want to go on defense in this situation, and some want the ball. Jerry Hendrickson is our referee with the captains.
42, heads, tails, call it when it's in the air, please. Tails. He calls tails. It comes up tails.
We'll defer to the second
You
half.
will defer to the second half. You have your choice.
We'll take football.
You will take the football.
And that goal.
Okay, you turn around.
Michigan State has won the toss and deferred their choice.
So the Hawkeyes will have the ball first, and we'll be back with the kickoff after this commercial break and a word from your local station.
I want my Serta.
I want my Serta.
Here's why people want their Serta. Why they're spoiled for any other mattress. Only Serta goes beyond just being firm. Beyond what others do. We top our support with the extra comfortable Serta Surface. A unique difference you can feel in a Serta Perfect Sleeper.
Marvin, I want my Serta.
Ollie, I can't see.
Relax. I know France like the back of my hand.
We need new Anco wiper blades.
Anco windshield wiper blades for Datsun, Toyota, VW, and other imports are available everywhere.
Much better.
Ollie, are you sure we're in France?
Where do you think we are?
Spain?
Spain.
Spain!
Anco, the best blades you can buy. Test prove it.
This is CBS. For 50 years, the history of Thermogas has been its people. People with pride, people who care. Hard-working people with a commitment to supplying an economical energy source for their neighbors, their community. From Iowa to Arkansas, from Wisconsin to Alabama, Thermogas people will continue to supply your energy needs. Thermogas, proud of our past, committed to your future.
I used to daydream about that car. Of course, I never thought I'd own one. But thanks to a perpetual car loan, we've got it.
All we wanted was a simple checking account that would earn money. So I went to Perpetual Savings, and now we've got it.
I always thought our dream home would be a beautiful old Victorian. It was just that, a dream, until Perpetual helped with a mortgage loan. Now, we've got it.
Perpetual Savings, we've got it.
Number 1 hosts number 2, Bo Schembechler. His 17th season at Michigan. His 23rd year overall of coaching. Taking on Hayden Fry in his 7th year at Iowa, where he is 47-28-1. Hayden's Hawkeyes will field the ball. Rick Sutkowitz from Troy, Michigan, will kick it off for the Wolverines. It's showtime. Touchback. Iowa will have it on the 20-yard line. And let's take a look at their backfield. Chuck Long, the Heisman Trophy candidate, will be at quarterback. His blocking fullback is Fred Bush. His number 1 weapon is number 31, Ronnie Harmon. Out wide, number 87, Scott Helverson. And number 40, Bill Happel. His tight end, number 86, Mike Flagg. So here we are, 1 versus 2. You have been there before as head coach at Notre Dame. What does it mean to be in this situation?
Well, this football team, these two teams, I should say, are in the middle of their seasons, and they still have a lot of football to play. 10 games for each after this game is over.
They show a double tight, and they run right at the heart of that Michigan defense with Ronnie Harmon gaining 5 yards. Coming out against them. Now, is this what Hayden Fry wants to do? Well, a lot will depend on his offensive line. Dave Croston at left tackle will help open the way. Humphrey is 6'3", 265. Senliger 6'2", 255. Bob Cratch, the other guard, 6'4", 270. And the other tackle, Mike Haight, 6'4", and 260. And again, Iowa comes out double tight, and here comes Harmon. Jitterbugging to the outside, close to the first down before he is slapped down there by the Wolverines and that tough defense. Garland Rivers coming up.
Brent, this is the guy that Bo Schembechler wants to stop, Ronnie Harmon. You see a well-blocked play as Bob Cratch, number 70, pulls and traps to the outside. Harmon makes his moves. Good support there by Garland Rivers. But Bo feels he's got to stop Harmon. He thinks he's a very, very dangerous runner.
Donald Hudson checks into this Iowa lineup. Now, David is a fullback. Number 20, it's a power I formation that Hayden shows, and immediately Harmon gets the first down. Arrow, we see something happening right here. They are running right at Michigan.
Yes. Michigan will do a lot of stunning in there. They feel when they veer that they might be able to catch them in the opposite direction. They've been coming to the short side of the field. But this is very interesting. We've got the confrontation between the leading scoring team in the country, Iowa's explosive offense, against the number 1 team in the country, Michigan, in defensive scoring. It's going to be a real battle.
Now again, 2 tight ends. Clark is 49, only 1 wide receiver. Straight ahead they come. And again, it was Harmon getting another 5 yards for the Hawkeyes. Mike Mallory, one of the defensive ringleaders, number 42, in on that stop. And already Harmon has carried 4 times for 19 yards. An enormous crowd on hand, as you might expect. They may set a record, even though it rained hard yesterday and throughout the morning. If the artificial turf dries quickly, they squeegee the excess water off, and they run the big fella one more time. And again, it is Harmon out beyond the 40-yard line, short of the first down, Andy Moeller. Number 49, he is the son of the defensive coordinator of Michigan, Gary Moeller.
Take a look at them from an end zone shot. They fill very quickly. They're linebackers that fill and try to establish a flat line along the line of scrimmage, and they certainly do a good job there.
That flow along the line that the Michigan Wolverines feature on defense. They do not allow that bubble to open up. 3rd and 2. And now only one tight end, and Long will throw for the first time. Great protection. First down for Iowa. He drills Billy Happel, number 40.
Brad Cochran was right on top of it, but Billy Happel came back to the ball. You see, Long has an awful lot of time. No pressure. He finds Happel coming back to the ball. Cochran, number 30, comes up but cannot strip the ball away. First down.
The key was the offensive line. Look at the protective pocket. The Wolverines could not penetrate until it was too late. And then Long, and his best asset as a passer, he will put the ball where you can handle it. And he did just that for Happel. Another first down for the Hawkeyes, and they run Harmon. And Moeller, number 49, met him right there about a yard beyond the line of scrimmage. The linebackers there are so intelligent for Coach Schembechler.
They really are. They're schooled well, of course, having fathers as coaches. But, Brent, one of the things that's happening, you notice that Iowa, over on the right side, right hash mark, immediately went to the short side of the field. Michigan has a history of veering and looping to the field, and they're attacking the short side of the field, trying to penetrate. That time, Michigan did a good job.
Well, the short side here would be to Iowa's right. Let's see what they do on 2nd and 8. They come to the wide side, Long on the roll, and he was brought down right away. Akers, number 33, an outside linebacker, stepped across, and Chuck did not have time to put the ball up. You know, Eric, it's interesting that throughout his career, Chuck Long has not fared all that well against Michigan's defense. In 3 games, Long has thrown only 1 touchdown pass against them, and that came 2 years ago. When Iowa shut out Michigan last year 26-0, they scored all 3 of their touchdowns running. So it is 3rd and 9. You would expect a pass in this situation. A defense loves to have you 3rd and 9, and Iowa shows a shotgun. The blitz was on. Mallory was coming, almost picked off. Michigan right away, when Long showed shotgun, stepped right up in with the blitz. Mallory was coming, and Billy Harris got a hand on the ball and swatted it to the ground.
There was great pressure here on Long, but watch Billy Harris, number 56, roll out of his block and almost intercept this pass. It was intended for Harmon, number 31, a little screen to the left. Something new for Iowa, the shotgun.
Castrobala, the left-footed punter of Iowa, is ready. He gets it off, and Eric Campbell, number 5, letting it go out of bounds, and there is a penalty marker down near midfield. Already in this game, we have seen Coach Hayden Fry come up with 2 wrinkles, and this penalty is going to be against Michigan, by the way. We get the preliminary signal here. We've seen 2 new wrinkles. He opens up with a double tight end, and he shows a shotgun. So Bo Schembechler's defensive staff now will have to counter what Hayden is going to do here today. He may have them a little bit off balance, and of course a big moment here because Michigan is seldom penalized in a situation like this.
Well, penalties are important in a football game, but going back to what Hayden Fry wants, let's listen here.
Offside, defense, accepted, repeat the down, 4th.
Now that will still not give them the first down, as the referee told you, but it gives them just a little bit better field position, and Iowa would like a better punt. I mean, this turns out to be a break for Iowa, and the first in the game, because that ball rolled out of bounds over by the 20-yard line, and they figure to get much better field position punting from here than they did. So Castrobala gets a second chance as Michigan commits the first error. Fry headed for the sideline again and out of bounds. And if he's going to punt like this today, then the Hawkeyes could be in trouble, because when you're in a game such as this, field position is absolutely critical, and that is only a 19-yard punt. So when you come back, the Wolverines will have the ball.
Here, hold my crush.
Looks good.
Yeah, real orangey. Just hold it. When an orange crushes inside, your eyes get bigger, your mouth gets wider till those all-natural flavors are deep inside. Your crush is so irresistible, you can't keep a bottle full. Hey, my crush.
I couldn't help myself.
Have a crush on sugar-free Crush, too. Sweetened with 100% NutraSweet. There's no saccharine aftertaste.
If you take the Somerset Road all the way out to Mangrove Bay, you'll find a very special place. Captain John's Boat Yard. One of the only places in Bermuda you can rent a boat and a motor and spend the day out over the coral looking for fish, or out on the flats just looking. But remember two things. Bring some sandwiches and your Visa card, because Captain John doesn't sell food and he doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
10 minutes and 9 seconds left in the opening quarter. It's #1 Iowa against #2 Michigan. The Wolverines with the ball for the first time. And their quarterback, Jimmy Harbaugh, bends down inside that huddle and calls their first play. Generally, Michigan will open with the fullback or the tailback running off tackle. It is White and Morris behind Harbaugh. It'll be Morris, cuts back to the middle left guard, and there was a hole. Let's take a look at that Michigan offense that you'll be hearing from here this afternoon. Jimmy Harbaugh did not play last year because of a broken arm. And Gerald White will play the tail and the fullback. Jamie Morris, he's the breakaway tailback. John Colasar, a freshman, good speed on the outside. Paul Jokic, 6'8" tall. And the tight end Eric Caddis has already caught 5 touchdown passes this year. So Michigan comes up to the line, 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard gain. Harbaugh looks out over the defense. It is a young Hawkeye defense. They are the biggest question in this game this afternoon. Harbaugh to Morris. Morris with a hole, and he cracks out for a first down. And he makes Jay Norvell, number 45, make the tackle.
Stop by Jay Norvell.
It's a good start for the Wolverines. Watch over the right side here. Good blocking as Elliott, number 79, comes across. A trap is made, and you see Jamie Morris find the seam. There's Norvell, number 45, stepping in and making the play.
Era, just as we saw a couple weeks ago with Lorenzo White in Michigan State, holes opening up in that Iowa interior defense could be a factor.
Really is. This is a young Iowa defense. They're improving, though.
First down. Ball is at the 41-yard line. It'll be the fullback White, and they do not surprise the Hawkeyes that time. Larry Station, number 36, quickly stepped up in there. Now the offensive line. John Elliott, one of 2 superb tackles. Bo has had to change his guards because of injuries. John Vitale, Bob Tavicino moved from the interior to center this year. Mike Krause is his other starting guard, and Clay Miller from Norman, Oklahoma. He could be the leader of that offensive line here this afternoon, along with Elliott. And an upset brewing there. Here we've got a 2nd and 7. Michigan has not yet thrown its first pass, and they will not here either. And Morris is brought down. Big Jeff Cross, number 76, wailed his man, got across the line and penetrated. Well, with that upset brewing, let's go back to New York and find out what's going on.
Brent, you are right. Syracuse has been throwing the ball short all day, but here they go on top. Don McPherson and Mike Ciano. 45 yards later, Syracuse is on top, 20-17, but Penn State is driving. They're on the 7-yard line. Let's go back to Brent Nera.
Thank you, Pat. And here in Iowa City, it's 3rd and 6 now. And the crowd picking up the noise level, and Jim Harbaugh says, I can't hear. Hold on. And the referee alertly steps in and says, we'll give you a discretionary timeout, and that's the discretion of the referee. Michigan is not charged with it, and they want to take the crowd out of the game right away.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we had the same situation in the Michigan State-Iowa game, but the referee has the discretion of giving the quarterback a timeout until the crowd quiets down. Last week he didn't do it, or 2 weeks ago he didn't do it. Immediately in this ball game, I think the importance of the ball game and all the crowd noise. Now they're going to come back up and try it again.
All right, Era, here we go. It's 3rd and 6. It's no score. Michigan's first possession.
Brett, the burden now falls on the Iowa defense. because they have to signal to that crowd. Otherwise, there could be a charge timeout and a 5-yard penalty assessed to the Iowa defense. You see the official walk in now. He probably will talk to the Iowa team.
There he is doing just that.
See, two well-disciplined football teams. That's Hayden Fry, of course. And the Michigan team, well-schooled, not going to blow a play.
Era, would you put the ball up here and test Harbaugh's arm? You've got a 3rd and 6.
I certainly would. I think I'd go ahead and throw the football. They're in good position, 45-yard line. Caddis has been an excellent receiver.
Here it is. He was looking for Caddis, who was covered. Now he gets it off to Jamie Morris, who was coming underneath, very close to a first down. George Davis, the other interior linebacker, in on the tackle.
I think it's a little short. He doesn't like the marking. He thinks he had the first down.
Fourth and short, and Michigan elects to punt. Robbins to punt it for the Wolverines. Capel and Smith are set deep. High punt by Robbins. Coverage comes down, and Capel with a fair catch. Inside of the 20-yard line. You come back. Iowa will have the ball.
We can help put people together.
Hey, I got an idea.
AT&T can help your business grow.
For us at American Express, building one worldwide nerve center was a dream come true. Finding the communications and information systems that could grow with us might have been a nightmare. We chose AT&T. You don't trust your dream to just anyone.
Whether it's telephones, information systems, long-distance services, or computers.
The right choice, AT&T.
This fall, millions of people will change their antifreeze, but not their radiator hoses. It's an easy mistake to make, because hoses can look good outside even when they're wearing out inside. So put in Quality Gates hoses the next time you change antifreeze. Because if your hoses go, your car won't.
Wednesday.
How much do you get?
For kids, it's on the house. A boy's father is caught between the law and the mob.
Dead men don't talk sense.
Where does the equalizer turn to even his odds?
Back live in Iowa City, 6:48 to go in the opening quarter. Still no score. The second-ranked Wolverines and their defense huddled around Gary Moeller because Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes have come up with a few new wrinkles on their offense here this afternoon.
You know, with about 8 minutes gone in this ball game, it's just like a couple of heavyweight fighters kind of feeling themselves out in the first couple rounds. You don't want to take any chances. I suppose some people thought Bo should go ahead and go for it at the 50-yard line, but that's the right decision in a game like this. Kick the ball down, play your defense. Field position is so important.
And Iowa does not have good field position here. They will start at the 18 with a lone setback, and that is Hudson, the fullback, going nowhere. So they elect to open this series without Ronnie Harmon at tailback, and Mark Mesner, a defensive tackle, and Andy Moeller wrap him up.
Second down, 9.
Penn State has jumped back into the lead since Pat Hayden had that Syracuse score for you. Nebraska finding more difficulty than they expected with Missouri today. And some believe that the winner there will go on to the Sugar Bowl. We'll have to see. Now Chuck Long and the Hawkeyes are ready to go back to work. Here's 2nd and 9. Here is Harmon finding daylight, cutting for the first down, and that has concerned Schembechler more than anything else.
You'll see on this play, the tackles, Hartenstein as well as Messner line up over the guards, and it's well blocked. Instead of being in their odd defense, you'll see the double team in here with Cratch, and you'll see Mike Haight rake through, and look at that hole right there for Harmon. They caught him perfectly. It was well blocked, a good call, and a little change in defense. that Iowa caught the Wolverines.
Harmon, 7 carries, 35 yards already. 1st and 10. Ball is out at the 33. And on 1st down, they will run Harmon again. Watch him jitterbug back and forth, and finally the swarming Michigan defense closes off all exit routes with Garland Rivers making the hit. Well, let's get that update on Penn State, and let's go back to New York, and here's Pat Hayden.
Brent, that score you mentioned just a moment ago, they scored with 1:53 left on a pick play. Steve Smith and a 33 right out of the backfield. That they lead 24-20, and they just intercepted a Syracuse pass. Let's go back to Brent and Era.
And here, of course, we have no score. 5:10 to go in the opening quarter. Iowa, 2nd and 13.
That last play, the swarming Michigan defense was really evident. Harmon was trying to cut it back, and there was all kinds of pursuit.
Off the play fake, he'll throw toward the sideline, and Billy Happel makes a fine catch. Close to a 1st down. Happel was working well at the sideline. What a great control receiver he is. Happel's father played on an Iowa team which went to the Rose Bowl back in 1956. Watch the fake to Harmon. Now that freezes one of the linebackers. Now Long waits for Happel to break free, finds him, and look where he throws the ball. Right there where it is catchable, and Happel keeps his feet inbound. About 3rd and 1, less than a yard shy of a 1st down.
You know what impressed me on that play, Brent? Ron Harmon, the tailback, faked up the middle. Mark Messner had made a loop around, was rushing clear, and Harmon blocked him right at the line of scrimmage. A great job.
Harold, let's see if Harmon gets the call here out of the power eye. A fake to him, and Long coming around the corner for the 1st down. Penalty marker is down near the fullback. There is a penalty flag down where Fred Bush was throwing a block. Jim Scarcelli, the outside linebacker, was held. And that's the call against Iowa. Well, here is this Michigan defense. This is hard to believe, folks, but in 5 games, they've given up only 1 touchdown. Jim Scarcelli, who was just held. Now Mark Messner. He's a fine young defensive tackle. Billy Harris, you just do not get him out of the middle. Mike Hammerstein, he's an exciting interior lineman, and Jeff Hakers on the outside. So you hear those names all afternoon long. One other thing about the Michigan defense, they haven't yet given up an extra point era. And look what they did to those quality running backs. Now keep in mind that Emory of Wisconsin gained more than 100 yards against Iowa, and White of Michigan State hit the Hawkeyes for plus 200 yards here a couple weeks ago. So a big difference. It's the shotgun by Chuck Long. 3rd and 11. Inside handoff to Hudson. Hudson going nowhere. Read beautifully by Moeller and Mallory, those inside linebackers. The new wrinkles have not fooled the 2 linebackers.
Well, I think that Michigan did not expect the fullback to run, but they were not fooled on this play. You see Long slipping the ball to Hudson, number 20, expecting that Michigan would key on Harmon. But boy, that Michigan defense was all over the place.
Here is a key in why Schembechler punted. He wants to put the pressure back on Kostrobala. But a 19-yard punt, they go out after him. He does get it off, but there's a penalty marker down. It'll be roughing the punter. Michigan went for the block that time, and instead they roughed up Kostrobala. Errol, last week you saw the Wolverines block one of the Michigan State punts.
We certainly did, but it came from the inside by Dieter Herron. I think Dave Arnold, number 27, a freshman, may have made a very crucial mistake. He left his feet. He almost got the punt. I don't think he got a piece of it, but as we see here in the replay coming from the top of the screen, number 27, David Arnold, launches himself. He will catch Kostrobala's leg right there, and roughing of the passer is called a 1st down, a big mistake.
When you rough the punter like that, Aaron, I think folks on that picture got a good indication as to why the penalty is so severe. You are absolutely defenseless when you get that leg up in the air. And I have seen occasions, not frequently, but I've seen occasions when a punter suffered a broken leg when someone was blocked into him in college football or high school. So it is 1st and 10. Ball is at the 47.
Well, we go right back to the basic thing that we talked at the top of the show. Fumbles, penalties, the importance of the penalties, where they occur and how they occur. Now, Iowa has 3 more opportunities, and you can't give a great offensive football team like they are too many chances.
Now they're near midfield where Chuck Long and Hayden Fry might open this game up a little bit. On 1st down, from the protected pocket, it's Happel cutting in across midfield down to the 46. Now you can do so many more things offensively, Era, after you get down there in that attack zone. You don't have to be so conservative. Take a look at the rest of that defense, the heart of the linebackers. Mike Mallory and Andy Moeller, you seldom fool them. Garland Rivers, he'll hit you as hard as anybody in college football today. Brad Cochran, another outstanding cornerback. And the safeties. Ivan Hicks, his brother, playing with the 49ers. Tony Gant did not play last year with an injury. Long to throw again, incomplete. He wanted Quinn Early, who was breaking from left to right, and Long took a lick, and he's helped back up by Mesner.
Incomplete.
So Chuck Long pulling out again, and this is one of the few times that I have seen Long this year overthrow a receiver. That was so close, but just off the fingertips of Quinn Early, who has great speed. Had he caught it, he might have split the middle and gone for 6.
He was wide open. I think that Iowa now has come to the fact that Michigan is going to be in a lot of zone defense rather than a lot of man-to-man. And this guy Long is really on target against the zone.
They ran the fullback in 3rd and short, Era. And again, Michigan was ready as he coughed the ball up. That ball was loose.
Called it down before the fumble, I think. I think he hit the ground.
Now, Mike Hammerstein, 66, and Mark Mesner, 60, closed in. And when those 2 tackles hit you, one 240 and the other 235 like this, they can jar the ball. Now, Hudson is one of Hayden Fry's new wrinkles today. He has elected to go with a fullback who might be a better runner than Bush. Short of the 1st down, Kostrobala to punt it again. And he lifts this one high. Tony Gant lets it bounce. Rolls toward the end zone, and Iowa goes to down it inside the 5. It's going to be marked down at the 1-yard line.
What a terrific job by Jay Norvell, who's playing great football for Iowa. He's our strong safety, and you'll see Norvell come down. The ball, I don't know whether he touched that ball or not, apparently not, but he knocks the ball out of bounds on the 1-yard line, but it's marked up where he touched it at the 10.
This is not the kind of field position that Bo likes.
When you're looking for more in a car, reach for the stars. Introducing the all-new 1986 Toyota Celica GTS, totally redesigned to give you more. A front-wheel drive car that truly handles like a sports car. Let the electronically fuel-injected 16-valve twin-cam dazzle you. Let its 135 horsepower move you. The Toyota Celica, a star is born, more like a legend.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
Mount Hood, Oregon and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Mount Hood means the best summer skiing in America. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place at Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Man, it doesn't get any better than this.
Back in Iowa City, Coach, you got great eyesight. You were right. Norvell touched that ball, and that's why it's spotted just inside the 10.
Well, that's a little better position for Michigan, the 1-yard line, but still it's not very good field position. The very thing that these two coaches are really jockeying back and forth. You can see it. Both of them come up with 4th down and short. Don't want to take any chances. They'll be very conservative down here. I'm talking about Michigan. That would be my guess.
They move Pattis, the tight end, to the left side. They split the 2 setbacks, and they'll come with White. They power it off the right tackle, and he muscles his way out to the 14-yard line. Larry Station, number 36, he was on top, and he gets up, and it'll be 2nd down, and there you see Miami with Testaverde testing that Oklahoma defense. The Sooners have not seen too many running, or I should say too many passing quarterbacks this year. They've been dominating running teams. In that game, a little bit of a difference as you see some of the rest of the scores running by. 2nd down and 6. From behind the eye. Morris. Daylight. 1st down. Stays on his feet. Gets out to the 25-yard line before he is wrestled to the ground. Norvell was there, but it's a 12-yard gain there.
Watch number 51, Mike Kraus, right there. Step up and through, pick up the linebacker, and you see Jamie Morris with a beautiful hole at the line at the point of attack. Great job by Kraus, who has replaced injured Mike Hussar.
Coach, it's great to get a 1st down coming out like this. Then you don't have to punt the ball back there near the 10-yard line. It's 1st down for Jim Harbaugh. Here comes Morris around the left. And he gets out again close to another 1st down. Devon Mitchell finally brought him down, but it was a 2nd effort there by Morris.
Really was. He also got an excellent block from Perriman, the lead fullback. The ball could have been stopped, or I should say Jamie could have been stopped in the backfield there, but Perriman did a nice job.
1st and 10. Ball is at the 36-yard line. No score. It's number 1 trying to defend number 2. And here is White out close to the 40-yard line. George Davis again brings him down. And of course, tomorrow on the NFL Today, we've got Irv Cross on that Ram defense. John Madden up live on Lawrence Taylor and some of the problems he's encountered. And we'll talk to Pete Rose about the first game of the World Series. Then, of course, most of you will see Dallas against Philadelphia or Washington against the Giants and the rest of our games. Regional coverage tomorrow. Here in Iowa City, 2nd and 6. Ball is at the 40. Morris trying to get outside, and he is pushed out of bounds. Jay Norvell, number 45, gets over on him.
And he came a long way to make that play that Norvell did. He has really played good football, good solid football for the Iowa Hawkeyes. We've seen him 2 or 3 times, and he reacts well to any kind of run. He put on some real hits right there, number 45, 2 weeks ago when he played Michigan State.
Era of Bo Schembechler's strategy starting to come clear offensively. Ball control, try to reduce the mistakes. He obviously thinks that he can run against this Iowa defense.
Both coaches do not want to beat themselves. You can see this ultra-conservative approach.
Harbaugh to put it up as the first quarter runs out, and he will not get it off. Pat Peterson, the nose guard, number 50. Came in and took Harbaugh down for the loss. Just what you'd expect, 1 and 2. No score in the first quarter in Iowa City. We'll return after this commercial break and a word from your local station.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Not so very long ago, the average 4-cylinder engine looked something like this. But these days, four-cylinder engines look a little more like this. That's why we developed new Valvoline 4-Guard motor oil, specially formulated to protect today's harder-working, more complex four-cylinder engines. And it won't break down, even after 7,500 miles. Times have definitely changed. So maybe it's time to change your oil to new Valvoline 4-Guard.
This is CBS.
There are some high-efficiency furnaces on the market, but not one holds a candle to Amana. The Amana Energy Command furnace makes gas, your best energy value, better with a 95% efficiency, thanks to the exclusive heat transfer module. The Energy Command gas furnace easily replaces your old gas or electric furnace, plus produces virtually unlimited hot water. If your monthly heating costs equal your mortgage payments, you're burning your energy candle at both ends. Amana can shed light on your energy problems.
Could I have your attention, please, just a minute? I've got some good news and bad news.
Today's economy is confusing. So who can you trust with management of your assets?
Our company's pension and profit-sharing plans lost money.
In Dubuque, there's an experienced financial planning group that knows how to help you make money.
But we switched to a bank whose track record is strictly good news.
See the financial planners at American Trust and Savings. They're ready to help you with your changing investment needs.
Back in Iowa City to start the second quarter. Michigan and Iowa are scoreless. Monty Robbins to do the punting for the Wolverines. He's out of Great Bend, Kansas. Smith and Happel to return it here for the Hawkeyes. Happel has got the fair catch at the 24-yard line. So here comes Chuck Long, and we had an opportunity to ask the Heisman Trophy candidate to put this game in perspective for us.
Well, I think, you know, it's a #1 against #2 team in the nation, and Michigan poses a lot of problems for us defensively. They got a great defensive ball club, and they're the type of defense that's kind of like our defense. They bend, but they don't break. And we're just going to have to be patient offensively in order to beat this team.
So far, neither defense has indeed broken. Over the middle, complete to Halverson, coming from left to right, dipping into the middle. And Aaron, there's the one soft spot in that Michigan secondary.
When they do a lot of zoning, they take deep drops and the underneath patterns are open. And I think we can expect to see a lot more passing in this quarter with Long having the win. You see here the same thing. There's a zone. Halverson comes underneath the zone. 49 there. Mallory, or I should say Moeller, along with Mallory, 42, they make the play.
Second down and 1. High formation. They run Harmon, and he is hammered short of that first down this time. He tried to squeeze free. Billy Harris in the middle of that Michigan defense. He is so tough to move out of there, that middle guard.
Bo says you just can't knock him out of there. Messner was also in there. He's very quick. And Garland Rivers was in on the play. You know, he's a short side corner. He was up there making the play. They really support to the ball. They take their pass run keys. But I think that what Long can do, what it looks like to me, is he's going to be able to pass the short routes.
Here's 3rd and 1. They show power I, and he's going to pass out of it. On 3rd and 1, works the sideline to Halverson, who's popped hard, but not before he got across midfield. That's a great call by the Hawkeyes.
Well, that's right, Brent. It was a great call. 3rd down and short. Everybody looking for the run. Halverson came out of there. Wide open. He's lined up at right halfback. Fake inside the Harmon, number 31. He picks up Mallory, the 42, coming in on the Long. There it is, right there. Beautiful pass by Long.
It was a 22-yard gain. The Wolverines obviously expecting a running play. Halverson got free, and as Era told you, he puts the ball right there where you can catch it, and Scott Halverson, a walk-on, did the rest. It is 1st and 10, and now the Hawkeyes are on the attack. Harmon just jitterbugs past one tackler, battles his way to a 2-yard gain. Andy Moeller brings him down. You know, speaking of great running backs, here earlier this afternoon on CBS, Keith Byers made his long-awaited return back from that broken foot. 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, of course, next week, we will see the Ohio State Buckeyes up in Minneapolis against a surprise team of the Big Ten, Lou Holtz's Golden Gophers, next Saturday afternoon. Here's second down, long over the middle, and again Halverson was wide open. Coming across, but they are short of the first down.
You know, it's interesting. Bo Schembechler and Gary Moeller, their defensive coordinator, talked about the fact they wanted to stop Harmon. They felt that Harmon would beat him. They respect Long, but they figured that Long was going to hit 60% of his passes, but it would take longer for him to beat him that way. It's an interesting philosophy defensively, but here they come up with 3rd and short again, and they're close to field goal range.
Now they show that power I formation, and they run Harmon this time out of it, and Michigan was ready. He got out to the first down marker, and let's see where they finally put the ball down. Hammerstein got a hand on him, but Harmon wiggled free for the first down, and that will show you how much Ronnie Harmon is valued.
You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, Hayden Fry said he wants to get every time, if he can put the ball in the hands of Harmon 5 times, he knows something exciting is going to happen 1 out of those 5. Well, he's had the ball 11 times already.
If I was a linebacker, I'd say something exciting happens 5 straight times.
That's right.
It is tough. Split backs. Harmon is to Long's right. He works out as a pass receiver, and Long is under enormous pressure that time. Mike Hammerstein broke a block and got in on him. There are no better pass rushers inside than Hammerstein. His brother, Mark Hammerstein, was a fine offensive guard on this Michigan team, but because of an injury, he has been lost. Now, Long knows he's under pressure. He can feel it. Now, here he is just trying to get rid of that pass, not be sacked and take the loss, and it went incomplete as Hammerstein had wrapped him up and was bringing him down. Now it is 2nd and 10. Long calling the play at the line. Harmon.
I thought sure that Iowa would throw the ball that time, and I could see that Michigan was deployed in the zone. I think Iowa had been able to hit that underneath pattern again. But here's a big down right now, 3rd down. And, you know, Hayden Fry is a crafty guy. This is a good spot for a screen or a draw. You see Bobby Smith going into the ball game, and he's a speedster.
And the other tight end, Clark, also checking in. Halverson and Harmon come out. Bush, the fullback, is left in to protect. Long pulls out, checks downfield, throws to Happel complete. First down near the 16-yard line. That's a 17-yard gain before Garland Rivers could bring him down.
No underneath coverage. As you see the linebackers, 49 Moeller and Mallory flowing. Long turns back, throws. There's no one between Happel, and you see Garland Rivers making the play. I'll tell you the one thing about Long, he is really accurate. When he has someone open, it's a rarity when he doesn't hit him.
Happel has caught 4 of Long's passes for 44 yards here today, and Long has completed 3 others. So his number 1 target has been Happel, and Long will use a timeout. There was some confusion out there, so rather than take a 5-yard penalty, Long has a timeout. We'll be right back. We're scoreless in Iowa City.
The first period score, 3.
Introducing the 1986 front-wheel drive Family Camry from Toyota, the car that gives you more headroom than any other compact, and more hip room and leg room than many compact cars. That means the Family Camry has more room for a rock group or a group of rocks. The Town Council of Slesack, Michigan, with the mayor's dog thrown in, 42 gas balloons, 2 sets of identical twins, plus a man named Murray. The Family Camry from Toyota.
Who can ask for anything more? Toyota.
When it's freezing cold and the sirens blow and the mercury's down to 20 below, you don't need problems, you gotta go. That's why America goes with Prestone.
A fresh fill of Prestone 2 antifreeze fights freeze-up and rust-up, too. A radiator could look this bad after just 10,000 miles of driving on weak, neglected antifreeze, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. Get the Prestone difference.
America goes and goes and goes with Prestone.
The year's top marathon field, including Olympic champion Joan Benoit, is expected in Chicago for America's Marathon tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Well, the Toyota Leadership Award is presented weekly to a team member who's been singled out by his athletic department and faculty advisor for his team contributions, grades, and citizenship. Today's winners are Bill Happel of Iowa and Mike Reinhold of Michigan. Toyota will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Arrow, we have no score, 10:39 to go here in the second. As you predicted with the wind at his back, Chuck Long has been going to the air. Now they are down close to the 15-yard line. What do you think Hayden will come up with here?
Well, your guess is as good as mine right here. I don't know. They're going to run it here. And the Michigan defense is really going to be challenged.
That was Harmon coming off the right side of that offensive line to inside the 15-yard line, picking up a couple of yards. And again, we see Billy Harris. So Iowa probing away at that middle. But now they're going to have to get something going on this play.
The second down and about 8 yards. I think we can expect a screen, draw, or pass. And the most dangerous thing right now to the Wolverines is Long's arm. He is really accurate. But they've shortened the field up. There's less field to defend.
Inside to Harmon. Read beautifully by the Wolverines. Mike Hammerstein said, "No, you don't, number 31. And if I have ever seen an All-American defensive lineman this early in the season, you're looking at him right now.
There's an awful lot of motivation. You see him give him the limp hip right there and come right inside and get that ball.
What did he give him?
Gives him the limp hip. I mean, he slides right through there. Something I don't have.
3rd and 12 now, and after that big defensive play, maybe Happel here, Arrow?
Could be. He's dangerous. Michigan is late in deploying their defenses. They seem to be confused.
Long looking at him under pressure, steps away from Akers, comes over to the right side, throws out it. Is it no catch in the back of the end zone. The official working the end line came across and said no catch. Now take a look as Scott Helverson is clear at the back. He is beyond Brad Cochran, number 30. At that point, he appears to be inbounds. Coming down, but that official did not make the call. The gentleman you're looking at did not make the call. It was the official coming across. Now look at that foot right there. Do I see water right there, Era? That looks like a touchdown to me.
I agree with you. I think he was in.
No question about it. Houghton up with the kick. Iowa has a 35-yard field goal, but they have been robbed of 3 points, and probably 4 with the extra point. Now, before I hammer the officials too hard, let us take still another look at what was happening. Remember now, this is not the NFL. 1 foot inbounds. Now, here's the pass. Helverson is behind Cochran. Now here comes Scott. He's got the ball. Watch the foot. You bet that's inbounds. No question about it. That should have been a touchdown. We've got timeout.
The Florida Everglades and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Everglades means airboating, as close as you can get to flying without leaving the ground. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
The Kemper Cavalry. Why do so many people trust their auto and home insurance to Kemper?
First accident forgiveness.
Kemper Total. Repair or replacement value coverage from my new car, as long as I own it.
Guaranteed renewal for good drivers 55 and over.
Compare Kemper's loyal protection with anyone. We don't have to toot our own horn. Once you compare, Kemper, you'll ride with us.
All right, Era, here's that controversial moment as we get up there and freeze it where he has control. You tell us what to look for.
Well, it certainly appears that he has his foot right here in bounds, and also you see that he has possession of the ball. It should be a touchdown. There it is right there. He drags it clear across and he has possession of the ball.
Now, Era, that other official who did not make it, shouldn't he have called the one off if he saw it?
Yes, I thought he had a good vantage point, but he waited for the back judge to call it.
Mike Kennett, number 5, will kick off. Holtland has not practiced for the last 4 weeks. His quadricep muscle in his right leg is injured, and he did it early in the season. And so Hayden Fry elects to go with someone who, with the wind at his back, might be able to put it deep, but he does not get it deep enough. Fielded at about the 8-yard line. Jamie Morris coming through near midfield. He cuts to the right, and he is brought down at the 31-yard line. Up great for the Wolverines as Jamie Morris almost busts a kickoff return. 60 yards. He brings it back.
They also got great blocking on that play, Brent, right at the point of attack, if you'll watch. There's Jamie fielding the ball. You get a shot here where he's right there. You can see the hole open up. His speed, he accelerates through. And this is a very fine run by Jamie Morris. You see number 21, Devon Mitchell.
Now, look at the hole that Era told you about. It just opens up like the Red Sea party. And Morris does the rest. Wilcher has checked in at tailback, number 27. Morris gets a well-deserved breather. Wilcher battles off of one would-be tackler and gets down near the 25-yard line.
The Hawkeyes should have had him back for about a 2 or 3 yard loss that time. They got a lot of penetration. There was no blocking at the point of attack. Well, that was Wilcher that time. Didn't realize it.
So we are live in Iowa City, Iowa, where the number 1 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes lead the number 2 team in the nation, Michigan, by a field goal. Michigan got a break. Iowa should have had a touchdown. And now let's see if the Wolverines can make the most of it. 2nd down and 3. Harbaugh hands to Wilcher, who barrels straight ahead for what appeared to be a first down, depending on where they spot the ball.
Stop by Larry Station.
There is the field goal kicker for the Wolverines, young Mike Gillette. And Bo said, "I trust him with my life under pressure." I didn't think Bo would trust his life to anybody, but here's a 1st and 10. Is at the 21-yard line. Harbaugh to throw. Now he runs and he throws near the line of scrimmage. Not a wise decision. Devon Mitchell, who burned this team with 2 interceptions a year ago, almost snapped that one off here this afternoon. Schembechler would have preferred that he had continued to run here, Coach.
This is a good job by Devon Mitchell. Harbaugh makes a poor decision because he throws the ball late. Devon Mitchell is right there, should have picked that ball off. Normally, he just eats that kind of a ball. Interception right now for Devon Mitchell.
Pryor was the outside lineman who had pressured Harbaugh. Jamie Morris returns. It's 2nd and 10. Off the fake, Harbaugh with time, goes to Jokic in the end zone, and he is beyond the end line. You can see his size, the former basketball player. He had the advantage on Ken Sims, who's only 5'11". Jokic is 6'8".
Well, there's no question about this one being out of bounds. He makes the catch, but look at his right foot. Left foot is not on the ground yet. Of course, he's 6'8". One step for him is about 4 yards.
You want to know something? His stride is so long, his left foot was closer to being in bounds than you might expect. I'll tell you that. 3rd and 10. closer than I expected it to be. We've got a timeout right now. And Harbaugh goes over to check with Bowes, looking at his short list. So while Schembechler talks to his staff upstairs and Harbaugh awaits their decision, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Who's ready to unleash the most powerful small 4x4 ever to beat up a mountain? Who's ready to unchain more horsepower than any small 4x4 ever? Who's introducing the first 4x4 gas turbo in America? Toyota's who? 1986 Toyota 4x4 Turbo. With all new high-track independent front suspension for even more comfort. It's the who's who in 4x4s.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Reunity and burgers go nice. Reunity and tacos go nice. Chicken goes nice. Salads go nice with Reunity on ice.
Reuniti has the taste that goes great with all your favorite foods. A taste that makes Reuniti the world's best loved imported wine.
Everything's nice with Reuniti on ice. Reuniti, Reuniti.
The Big Ten race is hot and getting hotter. The Ohio State Buckeyes will face the Golden Gophers of Minnesota in college football next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Era, show us the difference here on Jokic.
If you watch the left foot of Jokic right here, it is not on the ground when he has possession. You see there, the foot comes off. He doesn't have possession of the ball. The foot is off the ground, and it must be on the ground when you have possession of the football.
It is 3rd and 10. Michigan using a timeout because this is one of their bigger decisions of the game. They will have split running backs, White and Morris. Harbaugh to put it up. Over the middle, and he's got Jokic. Jokic breaks a tackle, gets inside the 15, and there's penalty markers down all over the place.
Might be a mask.
Harbaugh's pass complete to Jokic.
Larry Station was over there on Jokic, and that preliminary signal when he came up was indeed a face mask, Era.
Yep. Well, it's a tough penalty there because now it will give him a first down. Jokic had not made the first down. It would have forced a field goal, but you can see the importance of the penalty here. Taking a look, watch Jokic, 6'8", cross from your right to your left, right there. Makes a great catch. That ball was high. Shakes a tackler there. That's Davis, number 37. 36 Station finally brings him down. But let's see where the mask call is. Whether it's 29.
Larry Station coming up with his right hand, grabbed the mask right there. No question about it. Good call.
And a very tough penalty, Brent, because it would have forced Michigan into a field goal. Now they have the ball first down at the 6.
Bo Schembechler would say it's a great penalty. Here's 1st and goal, and hard to hear at this corner. Student bodies right off your left ear. Harbaugh. Now he'll call it timeout, and he'll go over to the sideline. And Bo wanted him to ask for a discretionary timeout, I'm sure. Look at this. There's no question about it. Because of the noise. Now the student body is over on the Michigan side where they have the ball. This would be one of the more difficult places in college football to be understood.
He's really hot, Brent, because he's got a charged timeout. Harbaugh turned back, asked for a discretionary timeout. The crowd noise was impossible for him to call the audible. And Bo does not like being charged the timeout. That's the whole key.
I have to admit that I have heard it louder, and I think you're about to hear it louder in this situation. One of the worst things you can do here with a student body is to complain about this, because now they will suddenly turn up the amplifiers a couple of notches over here. Now, I'm not sure. We'd have to ask Jimmy Harbaugh what he was trying to do down there on the field, whether or not he could hear it all. I thought when the crowd was chanting and the ball was near midfield there that it was even louder in here. Then it was almost impossible for him to hear, and that the officials were right. Now let's see how the student body reacts when Michigan comes up to the line of scrimmage.
But the pressure falls on the Iowa team because a charge timeout and a 5-yard penalty can be assessed if the crowd noise continues to interfere. That's what puts so much pressure on the referee.
Ball is at the 6. Iowa leading with a field goal. It's 3-0. Number 1 playing number 2, as good as advertised. Rained hard here this morning, but then it stopped a little afternoon, drizzled some more, but has not rained since, and it has not rained since this game began. Now the official decides that he spotted the ball a little too far forward, and he moves it back about 3 or 4 inches. Now let's listen. Can hear. They'll go to the wide side. It's Jamie Morris. White with a great block, but Sims comes off it. What a great defensive play by Ken Sims. White had leveled him with a block. He battled his way off of it and made a key stop.
It was a beautiful defensive play. Michigan was trying to run the option play down at the goal line. They had Iowa man-to-man coverage, as you'll see. Defender go with a motion man. There's the pitch by Harbaugh. White leads. Does not get Sims down. Sims comes through the blocker, which is White, makes a great play.
Bo Schembechler thinking he's got something going, and now Sims is rolling off, and he says, oh, how does he make a play like that? Wow. Even Bo says, nice going, young man. Now it is 2nd down, ball back on the 8. Here's Morris, right straight ahead, and the Hawkeyes close in. Hap Peterson, he's that nose guard. Shane Norvell, 45, he comes up and delivers a blow. George Davis, he was also there. They were ready for that, Coach.
Real good battle going on between Peterson, the nose man of Iowa, Bob Tabachino. Peterson's a super football player, and Tabachino's done a nice job moving in there from guard to the center position.
6:29 left here in the first half. 3rd and 6, and the noise level mounts. Harbaugh says, I can't hear. And this time he gets the discretionary timeout. Now that time I did think it was louder. I thought that again the students had increased their volume, and I agree with the officials all 3 times here this afternoon on that particular play.
Well, it makes it tough to play a football game. You see Bo is telling Harbaugh something there.
What great emotion. I've got to believe when one plays 2 that the home field advantage can be absolutely vital. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like right now up in Ann Arbor with 105,000 cheering for the Wolves?
Says it all.
Right?
Says it all.
Harbaugh, great shot of his eyes from that end zone camera.
They like to run the reverse pivot down the line option off of this. He still doesn't like the crowd noise.
Now the burden, as you pointed out, Era,
that the clock will not start now, so there's no 25-second rule imposed here. He can stand there as long as he wants until he decides that they can hear. So he can come back away from it.
Harbaugh's father, Jack Harbaugh, the head football coach at Western Michigan. So we're dealing here with a quarterback is tuned in to the ways of football. He knew he didn't have to make a move in that situation, and he wants things quieted down here before he decides to move. Now the PA announcer will tell the crowd.
He must be able to hear the signal.
I can almost hear the whole state of Iowa right now.
I'm glad I'm not those officials out there.
So they'll try again here. Harbaugh to put it up. Dross pursues him out of the pocket. He gets around, underhands it to White. White tries for the end zone. He's got the touchdown. What a move by Harbaugh.
What a reaction by Harbaugh.
Jeff Drost had broken through. He had chased Harbaugh out of the pocket. Jim was turning the corner to the left. He had White out in front of him. And you know, Doug Flutie used to make plays like that at Boston College. Here this afternoon, it's Jimmy Harbaugh. And Gillette to attempt the extra point. He nails it. And it is 7-3. So give a big round of applause to this young man right here, Jimmy Harbaugh. He sees White, the fullback, in front of him. He's wide open. No time to stop and cock the arm. Let's just get it to him. And White does the rest. Take it home for 6. And Michigan leads 7-3.
Looking for something more in a car? But the cost of keeping it on the road hangs over it like a dark cloud? Introducing a ray of sunshine, the 1986 Toyota Tercel. It has the lowest operating cost of any car in America. It's Toyota's lowest priced car. It has more room than any subcompact and front-wheel drive. The Toyota Tercel. You won't get soaked.
Who can ask for anything more? Toyota.
Hi, Pat Summerall. I'm no mechanical expert, but I work with professional quality master mechanic tools from True Value hardware stores. For quick home repairs, get a Master Mechanic electric glue gun. This top quality dual rivet gun with rivets or a heavy duty staple gun. This miter box sets common angles accurately and store loads of tools in this hip-roof toolbox. You can do a lot with Master Mechanic tools exclusively from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Tonight,
you're causing an awful lot of static, Stringfellow Hawk.
a mysterious woman is Hawk and Dom's only hope to save Archangel.
If we don't find him soon, he's a dead man.
On Airwolf.
Era, how did this develop?
Watch Jeff Drost right here, number 76, and Freeze right here. Put the heat on. Harbaugh is flushed out of the pocket, and White will slip out of the backfield. Left halfback here. Look at Drost, 76 come. Chases Harbaugh out. Watch 57 come into the frame. Right there, Freeze. And Harbaugh escapes, just shovels that ball to White, who had been at left halfback, and he stretches into the end zone. Great reactions by Harbaugh.
The question there, of course, the quarterback has to be so mindful of the line of scrimmage. When he comes up, he cannot be beyond it, and he was on the tightrope right there, but it was legal all the way. Now, if there has been a difference in this game so far, it has been the kicking game. It was a kickoff return, remember, by Jamie Morris that set up that touchdown. Iowa has not punted the ball well here this afternoon. Now let's see what Sutkowitz does with the bare foot. Hammers it down toward Harmon, goes in the end zone, touchback out on the 20. The Hawkeyes have the wind at their back. They're down 7-3, 6:06 to go. And tomorrow, reminder, more excitement coming your way. Can't wait to hear from Big John Madden live tomorrow on Lawrence Taylor and why he's been erratic for the New York Giants. He is that monster linebacker. So we've got a big afternoon at 12:30 Eastern time. And then, of course, we'll have regional coverage. Many of you will watch the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. Believe me, the Cowboys have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Tom Landry redid that entire defense during the offseason. Wait till you see how they're playing tomorrow on CBS. Here it's 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. And Chuck Long gets protection. Throws the ball complete to Harmon. And he is out of bounds near midfield. Oh, there's how dangerous he can be. 31 yards.
What a beautiful throw by Long. He really laid that ball right in there. They're in double zone. I'm talking about Michigan. Long will go back into the pocket. Harmon will circle to your right. Watch this ball right on the money beyond all the defenders. Great job. Brad Cochran, number 30, knocks him out of bounds.
The most accurate passer in college football, and the offensive line gives him all the time he needs. And there is Harmon behind Hicks. Finally pushed out of bounds by Cochran, but not until he got to the 49-yard line. And the Hawkeyes strike right back. Long will put it up on 1st down. This time going down the sideline, almost intercepted by Garland Rivers. He had Smith working a fly pattern, and the zone coverage sent Rivers rotating over there, and he saw ball.
Watch here as Long gets a little bit more pressure on this defense. Hartenstein coming, Messner coming from the left side here. Great ball reaction here by Garland Rivers. Gets over just and steals the ball away from Smith. Watch the pressure here on Long. Has to throw the ball just as he gets heat from Messner and Hartenstein.
2nd down and 10. Harmon, who Michigan must watch, is back as the tailback. They play fake to him. Long is under pressure again. Receivers were covered. Off the scramble, he throws it to Ronnie. Ronnie looking for daylight. Keeps on going until he's down to the 45. You are looking at one of the premier running backs in college football. Number 31, Ronnie Harmon, is a young man who suffered a broken leg last year against Wisconsin. His mother, Jackie Harmon, was watching back at home on television when that injury occurred. She was beside herself until she got the telephone call that her young running back was going to be all right. Jackie, of course, is watching this action today, and she has to be, oh, ever so proud of what Ronnie is accomplishing here. 3rd and 6. Split backs this time. Hudson throws the block. And that time he had to throw low, and Smith tried to scoop it up, but the official said it skipped off the carpet.
One of the few times that I've seen Long, right there in your picture, throw the ball off balance and not get it there. He just seems to be accurate anytime, any position that he's in. That's one of the few times.
Northwestern upsetting Wisconsin this afternoon, and Ohio State a winner. So as you look at some of the other scores, a reminder that we will have the Buckeyes again next Saturday on CBS against Minnesota. Lou Holtz, how's he doing up in Minnesota? What are his plans? We'll find out next week. Castrovalla back to punt again. This time he bobbles the snap and finally gets it off. Campbell lets it bounce. It gets an Iowa bounce down inside the 5, and it is surrounded by Hawkeyes. It's 7-3. Michigan with the lead. We'll be right back in just a moment.
The Patrick Ewing era begins next Saturday on CBS Sports.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
Napa means auto parts. So dependable they may be the best part of your car. More than 100,000 parts for import and domestic vehicles are available through over 6,500 Napa stores all across the country. Or get Napa quality at garages and service outlets where you see the Napa sign. Wherever you go, Napa's the one.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
To John Kaiser, who had 6 grand openings in 3 days, Republic Airlines awards the comforts of perks.
He's earned them.
To Gary McKee, who had to laugh at the same joke 6 times, Republic awards the executive suite perk.
You've earned it.
And to Nell McCarran, who had to dress for success in 6 cities, Republic awards a free trip after only 20,000 miles.
I've earned it.
We make you feel like flying. Republic Airlines.
We are live, Kinnick Stadium, Iowa City, Iowa. The Hawkeyes ranked number 1, playing the number 2 team in the nation, Michigan. Michigan leading 7-3, but it was Iowa that scored first. Holtland with a 35-yard field goal, and the Hawkeyes had the lead after they did not give Helverson the touchdown. Then this occurred. Jamie Morris busted one up the middle. 63 yards, he returned it before Iowa could finally bring him down. And that set up the Michigan Wolverine touchdown. It was the lateral from Harbaugh to White. The fullback did the rest and goes down as a 6-yard touchdown pass, 7-3. Now, as the Hawkeyes down that ball inside the 5, Jimmy Harbaugh will bring up what figures to be a very conservative offense, one trying to get holes in the interior line, get a first down, and get out of trouble right now. It'll be the fullback and White out across the 5-yard line.
Peterson was veering to the field, the nose tackle right over Tavicino. Tavicino blocked him across the hole, but good support from the rest of the Hawkeyes.
some more scores, and oh, how Jerry Faust needed that one, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a good one to win.
2nd and 7. To the weak side, and Morris cut back to the middle. Jeff Frost, oh, is he a good-looking football player. Last year, because of an injury to Peterson, he also played nose guard. As you check in on some of the other scores of games played this afternoon, and of course at halftime, we'll go back to New York. Jim Nance and Pat Hayden will be bringing you the Prudential College football report. Third and 5. Backs are split. Harbaugh to throw, looking for the first down, comes to the sideline, incomplete. He wanted Jamie Morris. George Millett had dropped off into pass coverage, and he stayed right with Morris.
I was surprised that Bo put the ball up at this point in the game, or I should say from that field position. You see Millett right there. Ball is overthrown by Harbaugh anyway, so they've got a kick from deep in their own territory.
You would have thought safe pass, but if Millett had intercepted it, I would have loved to have seen Bo's expression on the sideline. Here's the punt from the end zone. Robbins gets it out. Happel out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Now we've got 3:17 to go in the first half. Iowa is about to try to seize the lead. We'll be right back in Iowa City to see if the Michigan defense can hold.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence. Become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the armed forces. It's a great place to start.
To Jim Peck, who had 5 business lunches in 3 days, Republic Airlines awards the comforts of perks.
I've earned them.
To Denise Cresta, who had to preview 400 patterns of plaid, Republic awards the Executive Suite perk.
I've earned it.
And to Ron Barry, who had to be in 3 cities at the same time, Republic awards a free trip after only 20,000 miles. He's earned it.
We make you feel like flying. Republic Airlines.
On the NFL Today, a report on the Rams' big play defense. John Madden on what's happened to Lawrence Taylor. And Pete Rose on the World Series tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Gary Moeller checking with his defense. You know, Jamie Morris's kickoff return. Does it take you back in time when number 1 played number 2 in another year? 1971, Nebraska and Oklahoma. As good a football game you should ever want to see. The Sooners were back to punt. The great Johnny Rogers was going to return it for Nebraska. Watch this Sooner get a hand on him right away. Greg Pruitt cannot bring him down, and Johnny Rogers does the rest. Breaking free, a 72-yard return for a touchdown as these two great teams battled back and forth. Fullback Jeff Kinney scoring 4 touchdowns. The winner came with 1:38 left. That was 35-31. Here today, it's 1-2. Meanwhile, Oklahoma in the 3rd period trailing a passing quarterback 14-7. And Nebraska beating Missouri, but only by 8. So there were some who said Oklahoma should be won, but they had not yet faced a passer like Testaverde. So we'll find out how that one unfolds. Here it is, the Hawkeyes trying to get into the end zone late in the first half. Long with time, down the sideline to Harmon. Harmon was going to step out of bounds. He saw the defense would allow him 3 more yards. He took it. 25-yard gain.
You could see that the defense of Michigan was responding to Chuck Long's eyes. He's looking up the field, and the defense is zoning. Look at him looking right up the field. Then at the last second, he turns and throws to Harmon, and there's no one over there because of the defensive response of the Michigan secondary to Long's looking down the field.
Harmon has touched the ball 17 times here in the first half. He's responsible for 96 yards of offense. And here he is with his 18th time, a carry. Coming behind the right side of the line. Bo Schembechler telling us last night, the man we must stop is Ronnie Harmon. Well, he's getting every opportunity, but Harmon is making the most of it. Bo believes that Harmon is as good as any running back this side of Bo Jackson, that he belongs up there with the elites right now in college football. And if you're a pro scout, you have to be drooling about the way he stops and starts on a dime. It's 2nd and 6. Split backs, long to throw it. Comes back to the right. He's got a man open. It was Helverson inside the 10-yard line. First down for the Hawkeyes. What an accurate passer he is.
That was a great job by Long, throwing between 3 defenders that time. Number 66, you see Hammerstein right here, cannot get by. Oh, that was a great job. Here's Hammerstein right here. Catch number 51. I'm sorry, number 70. Right there is blocking on Hammerstein. Will not let him in there. Great job by Kratch, who's replacing injured O'Brien.
Long on the game is 12 of 18 for 147. Here comes Harmon. Bush with a block. Tries to get outside and could not. Well defended. Mallory, and that is Doug Mallory. The defensive back and Jeff Akers sealed him up. Now Doug Mallory comes into that secondary. They have like 5 starters back there. And then you look at the statistics at the end of the game, and even though Doug doesn't start, he frequently is amongst the leaders in tackles. The 2 Mallorys, of course, are the sons of the Indiana coach. Now Mike Mallory had to leave for a moment. He's going over to the sideline. He's lost a shoe. Number 42 has gone over to the sideline, and Michigan has had to use its last timeout because of that. They could not afford to be without their key linebacker. And we'll be right back in Iowa City in a moment.
The one big question when it comes to trucks is who? Who gives you a powerful 2.4-liter engine? Toyota. Who gives you more payload than any truck in its class? Toyota. Who gives you 3 across seating? And who does it all still for only $59.98? The 1986 Toyota Standard Bed is who? The #1 selling small truck in America. Who else? Nobody.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
Out here, it's me alone against the course. But in the financial world, you need all the help you can get. You need the PaineWebber Army behind you.
Even golf legends can use some financial backup. PaineWebber is ready to roll, putting all its resources at your command. We believe the quality of life just might depend on the quality of your financial services.
Thank you, PaineWebber. Now that's the kind of army you want behind you.
Live at Kinnick Stadium, Iowa City. 7-3 Michigan era. This is a great moment in this football game.
It really is, because the Michigan defense, which has yielded just 1 touchdown, and this is their 6th game, the 2nd quarter of their 6th game, they have a lot of motivation to keep Iowa out of there, but Long is awful tough to keep out. They've stopped them thus far and held them to a field goal, but this is going to be tough, I think, for the Wolverines.
2nd and 10, ball at the 10. Harmon looking like he wanted to throw that time. You bet he was, and he won't get it off, but he stays on his feet, and he's got to be careful before he fumbles the ball.
Kind of a surprising call there where they had Harmon on really wanted to throw the football off of a sweep. But the most dangerous passer they have, obviously, is Long.
Yeah, why would you go to second best here, Coach?
Well, maybe they thought they were going to be man on man. You can see here as he drops back just a little way. He's looking for the receiver, cannot find him, but he uses good judgment at this point not to give the ball away. Oh, he fumbled the ball.
Got back on it, too. Now it's 3rd and 15 as a result of that play. Long gets it out to Harmon. He eludes a tackler, gets inside the 10-yard line. Now we're down to 30 seconds to go. The Hawkeyes still have a couple of timeouts. They are down to 4th down, so apparently they will have to settle for their 2nd field goal. Hoatland number 7, huddling over with a couple of the assistant coaches. And Hayden will wisely use a timeout as he brings the clock down. He doesn't want to see Jamie Morris running back another kickoff in this situation if he can avoid it. So he brought it down in 4 seconds. So we're watching 2 Big Ten teams here, Iowa and Michigan. Let's take a look at the entire Big Ten Conference.
As the Big Ten Conference enters its 90th season of football competition, that rare combination of commitment to academic excellence and success on the playing field continues. Big Ten football is exciting, competitive, and entertaining, as evidenced by the continuous record-setting attendance figures posted year after year. But it's more than just the thrills and glory on the field. It's a weekend of bands, cheering crowds, color and pageantry, which makes Big Ten football such a happening. The conference also excels in many other sports, including men's basketball, which always ranks among the nation's best, and ever-improving women's basketball, as well as strong support programs like hockey and wrestling, which have been dominated by Big Ten teams on a national level in recent years. But it's the nationally renowned academic reputation which distinguishes Big Ten universities, where tomorrow's leaders in research, technology, and higher education are ready to meet today's challenges.
Rob Holtland preparing to attempt his second field goal. He is responsible for their only points here this afternoon. This will be a 27-yarder. Mark Vlasic, the backup quarterback, will put it down for the Hawkeyes. Time running out here in the first half. Holtland's kick is good as time runs out. So that great Michigan defense doesn't give up a touchdown. They yield 2 field goals. The Wolverines get a touchdown as Jamie Morris returns a kickoff 60 yards. Then Jim Harbaugh comes up with a Doug Flutie play. The old underhand shovel pass, and fullback Cheryl White does the rest. It's as good as advertised, 1 versus 2. We'll come right back after this message and a word from your local station.
Some of you are being asked to choose a long-distance phone company. If you don't choose, someone's going to choose for you, and you know how that could make you feel. So if AT&T's clear long-distance connections and full services are important to you, send in your ballot. AT&T Long Distance, for over 100 years, when you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way by making the choice yourself.
In my line of work, your insurance isn't on a piece of paper. It's up here, and it's in your equipment. With all the technology that's built into today's cars, I just don't trust mine to anything but AC filters. An AC oil filter can help protect your gasoline engine for up to 15,000 miles. An AC air filter, up to 30,000 miles. Never wait for trouble. Protect your car with AC filters.
Now get rebates on AC filters. Call 1-800-AC-DELCO for a participating dealer.
CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue after this word from your local station. This is CBS.
Mount Hood, Oregon, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Mount Hood means the best summer skiing in America. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light. Old Milwaukee. And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
Man, it doesn't get any better than this.
We've seen a land called Iowa, full of dreamers just like you, where they still believe the American dream, still think the dream comes true. You're striving harder, you're working longer, you're trying everything that you can do. We've seen what you've seen, we share the same dream. We can help your own American dream come true.
That's the American way of banking.
A performance story from Phillips 66. Subject, gasoline. Weather is constantly changing. From region to region, throughout the year. That's why at Phillips, We adjust our gasoline to change with it so that your car will perform well, no matter what kind of weather's up ahead. That's performance. From Phillips Petroleum, you'll find performance in everything we make.
CBS Sports presents the Prudential College Football Report, sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock, it's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Welcome back to the College Football Report on CBS. I'm Jim Dance along with Pat Hayden. And Pat, this game, everything it was built up to be. Had it not been for that controversial play, the Hawkeyes could be in front here at halftime.
Well, Hayden Fry is fuming, and rightfully so. It was a bad call. Chuck Long was looking for Scott Halverson, his wide receiver there. Now, they ruled him out of bounds. He does scramble around. This is what he does so well, Chuck Long. That's why he is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Now, that was ruled out of bounds, but on a second look, you're going to see that Halverson has 1 foot in, which is all you need in college football. Now, Iowa did score a field goal here, Jim, but a 4-point differential can mean a lot against a tough Michigan defense.
Michigan still has not allowed a touchdown in this game. No PAT on the season. They have not given up a point after touchdown because the one they gave up against Wisconsin, they did not make the extra point. All right, let's get in with the rest of the top 10 scores. And that includes number 3 Oklahoma, who right now are finding some real troubled times at home. They're behind Miami of Florida 14-7, but more importantly, quarterback Troy Aikman has a broken left ankle in that game. He'll be out probably for the rest of the regular season, which means the Sooners' wishbone offense will be directed by an untested freshman the rest of the regular season. Number 4 Arkansas, a point better than Texas as they start the third quarter. 5th-ranked Florida, 45-zip over Southwest Louisiana. Kerwin Bell threw for 3 touchdowns. Syracuse almost pulled off the upset of the day against Penn State. That final 24-20 for the Nittany Lions. Don McPherson of the Orangemen goes long to Mike Ciano, and the touchdown had the Orangemen in front 20-17 in the 4th quarter. Joe Paterno's team has won every game this year, and every one by 7 points or less. So they know how to pull them out. Here, John Schaefer to Steve Smith for the winning touchdown, and the final is 24-20, and the Nittany Lions remain unbeaten on the year. Nebraska had a scare against Missouri, 28-20, 1 touchdown on the day for the Cornhuskers. They had 7 field goals from number 1 Dale Klein. That ties an NCAA record by Mike Prindle of Western Michigan. 7 field goals by Klein, and Nebraska beats the winless Missouri Tigers 28-20. 8th-ranked Auburn also could be an upset victim today. They're trailing Georgia Tech 14-7. John Dewberry, the quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, goes to Gary Lee, who makes a nice grab. Gets way down there in Auburn territory. 2 plays later, Jerry Mays takes it in. He has scored 2 touchdowns for Georgia Tech, and they lead Auburn right now 14-7. What kind of day is Bo Jackson having?
Well, 14 carries, 87 yards, which is not a big numbers for him, but think about their play on artificial surface. Over the last 2 years, they're 0-5, while they're 13-0 on natural grass. Give some credit to Don Lindsay, the defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, too.
That's an amazing stat. All right, rounding out the top 10, 9th-ranked BYU will play New Mexico later on tonight. The Cougars right now sidelined with their 2 excellent wide receivers, Mark Bellini and Glenn Kozlowski, although Kozlowski might play tonight against the Lobos. And 10th-ranked Air Force, 14-13 over Colorado State. They've just started the 3rd quarter. Air Force also has a 60-yard field goal in that game against the Rams.
They're good in the air, right?
Yeah, I say.
Okay, we have some other top 20 scores for you. In a shootout at Ohio State, they win 41-27 over Purdue. Keith Byers was back, rushed for 106 yards. Spoiled an effort by Jim Everett, 497 yards for Jimmy Everett there. And how about Tennessee and Alabama in an SEC matchup? 16-14, Tennessee wins that one. That's their 4th straight over Alabama. Now, it was a rough day for Tony Robinson. Had to come out of the game 3 different times. Here's some of the reason why. He is sacked by Kurt Jarvis. Boom, that's where he hurt his knee. The coach felt that he'll be out for the rest of the season. Obviously, he left the game there on crutches. Mike Shula tries to bring the Crimson Tide back. He finds Bobby Humphrey for 19 yards. That cut the score to 16-14. Again, Shula, who had only thrown 1 interception coming into today's game, throws his 2nd of the day to Dale Jones, number 54, and Tennessee wins 16-14 in a big SEC matchup. How about Georgia and Vanderbilt? That was a final 13-13 tie. That one is a surprise. And also a surprise, Washington State is leading UCLA 24-17 in the 2nd quarter, but UCLA is a strong second-half team. And Notre Dame over Army, 24-10. But, Jim, even in spite of that win today, I still think we're going to find a new coach at Notre Dame next year. But Alan Pinkett had a big day, became their all-time leading rusher, past Vegas Ferguson.
Suppose Notre Dame has a tough schedule the rest of the way. Do you think if they ran into another couple of losses, do you think Faust would be out before the end of the season?
Well, the administration will not do that now. They live with him this long, and I admire them for doing that. But if there's going to be some sort of resignation or change now, it's going to have to come from Jerry Faust himself.
All right, Pat, we have some updates back into the top 10, including that Oklahoma, Miami, Florida game. The Hurricane has added a field goal. They're up by 10 over the Sooners. And Texas and Arkansas also updated. Longhorns with their third field goal of the game, and they're now in front of the Razorbacks by 2. Quickly, some other scores. Northwestern, last-second field goal, beat Wisconsin 17-14, and Kansas leads Kansas State 38-0 in the third quarter. Still ahead, Pat and I will look at some of this season's surprises in the Big Ten, and we'll continue with highlights and scores from around the country here on the College Football Report.
It's a jungle. That's how it feels when you're searching for life insurance. The natives don't speak your language. You feel lost, in the dark, scared. But there is a sign of civilization. With Prudential, your agent will explain things clearly and work with you until you have a piece of the rock you feel comfortable with. No wonder more people choose Prudential for life insurance than any other company. You'll feel right by the rock. Prudential Life Insurance.
Powerful new financial help is coming. The Rock, the Prudential, is now more than insurance. It's mutual funds, IRAs, stocks and bonds, new products and new ideas, as well as new forms of insurance. It's rock-solid financial help for us all. The Rock, the Prudential. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Jim Nance along with Pat Hayden back at our New York studios. You know, the team that really surprises me this year in the East is Rutgers. They opened up their season at Florida and tied the highly rated Gators 28-all. But since that time, they have dropped 5 games in a row, including a 38-10 drubbing at the hands of the Pittsburgh Panthers today. Elsewhere, West Virginia made it 6 straight over Boston College, 13-6. Navy 56-14 over Lafayette. Napoleon McCallum had 3 touchdowns. Yale 28-12 over Columbia. Harvard 17-7 over Dartmouth. And it was Brown 22, Cornell nothing for Cornell. They have now started their season 0-5, another team that has to be disappointed.
Jim, in the South, we had some good ACC matchups, including a game between interstate rivals, North Carolina and North Carolina State. Earl Winfield accounted for all the Tar Heels points, 2 touchdowns receiving and 1 rushing. They win 21-14. Maryland, their 13th straight ACC wins 26-3 over Wake Forest. And Clemson evens their record at 3 with a 21-9 win over Duke. And in an upset, Virginia Tech beats Virginia 28-10 after trailing 10-0.
Boy, that surprises me. You know, back in the Midwest, in the Big Ten, Minnesota is tied for the lead in the Big Ten. We're going to be talking about that more later on here at halftime. Today, the Gophers 22-7 over Indiana. Illinois scored the final 23 points to beat Michigan State by 13. Bowling Green 23-18 over Central Michigan. Quarterback Brian McClure set an NCAA record for most career completions, breaking the mark of Duke's Ben Bennett. He also tied John Elway's mark of 200-yard passing games with his 29th career 200-plus passing game. And Rice, a winner for the 2nd straight week. They win by 2 points over Texas Tech. Baseball tonight, the World Series will get underway, the I-70 World Series. That is weather permitting. There is a 40% chance of rain at this time. John Tudor will start for the Cardinals, Danny Jackson on the mound for the Royals. And when we come back, Pat and I will assess the Big Ten and the SEC at midseason. You're watching the College Football Report on CBS, where the scores continue from across the country.
Some investors who thought oil was the only answer came up dry.
They've seen that tying up all their money in banks isn't always in their best interest. And that following the takeover fad of the moment can lead to slim picking. More and more, the ambitious investor is following Prudential Bates, whose rock-solid investment strategy is leading the way to the future. Prudential Bates Securities. Follow a leader. Bugsy, stay.
Make sure your auto insurance is under control when your car's not. Have your Prudential representative give you a fast, free pro review of your coverage.
Are you covered? I don't know.
You'd know with a Prudential Pro Review. The right coverage is no accident.
Oh, my...
Get a Pro Review from the Prudential and get a piece of the rock.
Nice boat.
In the first part of our doubleheader today, Ohio State and Purdue, Pat and I could not help but notice here from the studio that everyone at Ohio Stadium had a big smile on their face. And I think it was all because number 41 was back in there. Keith Byers for the Buckeyes. After being out for 5 weeks with that right foot, broken right foot, he was back in there, opened up the airways for Jim Carsados, who here gets the touchdown to Michael Anise. The Buckeyes led 14-0. But Jim Everett's an outstanding quarterback for Purdue. He threw for 497 yards and 2 touchdowns. This completion to Carter set up a score that had the game all tied 27 apiece in the fourth quarter. So Earl Bruce called on his bread and butter. Keith Byers leaped in from the 1-yard line. He added another touchdown to make the final 41-27 for the Buckeyes. Earl Bruce was asked about the toughness of the Big Ten.
There's a lot of good football teams in the Big Ten. Naturally, when you look at Iowa, Michigan, and Minnesota that are undefeated in the Big Ten, right now they are, that's the challenge.
Now, about that Minnesota team, they did not complete a pass today. However, they rushed for over 340 yards. Valdez Baylor from 8 yards out got the Golden Gophers on the board 7-0. Later, on a 4th and goal at the Indiana 2, the score 12-0. This was the clincher. Gary Couch takes it in, and that final was 22-7 for Minnesota over the Hoosiers. That makes them 5-1 now, the Gophers, and next week they'll be playing Ohio State, a game you'll see here on CBS. And what's incredible to me, Pat, is that going into the last weekend of October, Minnesota is still in the run for the Roses.
Well, as we look at the overall records of the Big Ten, what strikes me is the quality of the conference from top to bottom. You know, they're 24-6 in non-conference play, but the real test comes in bowl season, where they've been miserable the last few years, 1-5 a year ago. They want to make a statement, they're going to have to win some bowl games. Another
conference that is wide open right now and really has a lot of good teams is the Southeastern Conference.
Well, I think it's the toughest conference in the country. They are 23-5-3 against non-conference competition. Tough places to play there. That's what makes that conference interesting. LSU, Tennessee, Georgia. Tough to win on the road in the SEC.
Means we're in store for a great second half of the college football season. Coming up next, the start of the second half of the game, and you're watching the College Football Report here on CBS.
The Prudential College Football Report has been sponsored by The Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The Prudential, the rock. It's strong, it's on the move, it's bigger than life.
Only 1 point separates number 1 Iowa from number 2 Michigan, and we're at the half. And you know, Errol Parsegian, in fairness, we must point out that the Hawkeyes appeared to have a touchdown taken away from them.
Really was a bad break because the replays show quite clearly that Halverson was in. You see here Long throwing the ball. Watch the left foot of Halverson. It is inbounds. 1 foot is inbounds. He has possession of the football. This score should be 10-7 rather than 7-6.
They settle for the field goal. Hoatland from 35 yards. Then the kickoff, and Jamie Morris turned on the afterburners.
We see the importance of the kicking game once again, as you see great blocking for Jamie Morris, and he breaks out of that pocket. He goes 63 yards, and this return led to the lone touchdown that's been scored in this football game.
And it was a beautiful touchdown because it happens on front lawns and neighborhood parks every Saturday morning. A quarterback, little extemporaneously, comes up with something, as you will see the fullback say, give me the ball, Jimmy, give me the ball. And so he does. No time to stop and throw a pretty pass. Let's get the job done. And don't overlook the effort that White came up with right there to get the ball into the end zone. But I really think the key man continues to be Ronnie Harmon, what he can do offensively and what Michigan must do defensively.
Brent, you're exactly right. Harmon has carried the ball 16 times. He's only made 35 yards. But the thing that is really important here, watch Mark Hartenstein, the left tackle, a second one from the bottom on the line. He'll give a slip rush right here to the defender. Then watch the number of Michigan men that pursue to Harmon once he has the ball. There's Hartenstein forcing Harmon deep. Okay, now there's one, Garland Rivers, number 13. Now watch the white shirts that come into this picture as Harmon starts to break away from that. They've done an excellent job on him.
Hard for one to beat 11. What do you think about the second half?
Well, Brendan, looking at the statistics, I don't think the second half bodes well for Michigan because they have not been able to do the thing they want to do, maintain possession of the ball. Iowa has had the ball 20 minutes, almost 20 minutes, while Michigan has just had it 10. And you cannot give Chuck Long that many opportunities without him putting some points on the board. I think that's the biggest problem Michigan faces in the second half.
I'm a defensive guy myself. I think Garland Rivers or somebody will come up with an interception and put this one away for Bo, but what do I know? We're going to come back and find out. Chuck Long and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Can they pull it out and stay number one? We're about to find out.
If you're ready for the pro-quality alternative to rakes and brooms, listen up. That's an easy starting echo you hear. That's an easy starting, easy handling echo you hear. And it'll make a pro out of you. I hear you. Take it from Dick Butkus. Only Echo has the ProFire electronic ignition, and it's backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Visit your dealer today. There's bound to be an Echo in there.
Echo, first from the start.
Now, another way to spell relief. Use sodium-free Rolaids. Like regular Rolaids, it consumes all the acid required to bring millions 100% relief. Plus, it's rich in calcium. Regular Rolaids and use sodium-free Rolaids for 100% relief.
Monday, how many shakes Tuesday, can you get Wednesday, from one Thursday, Schick disposable? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How many does your disposable give you?
Mr. Goodwrench has the right tools available. Tools of the science of automotive service. Advanced, sensitive, accurate, strong and simple, or complex, like electronic eyes that probe the mysteries of your car. These are the tools that understand and fix. These are the tools of Mr. Goodwrench. And no one knows your GM car better. No one.
CBS Sports coverage of college football will continue after this word from your local station. This is CBS.
Hi, and welcome to Shazam Banking. I'm not just convenient, you know. I'm versatile, too. Just use your bank card. Most any card will do. For all kinds of transactions, everywhere in Waterloo and Cedar Falls. You can withdraw cash, make deposits, even transfer from account to account.
Do you talk to everyone like this?
Just the people I like, sweetheart. You devil, you.
My mom is so upset. She found out that her special Italian turnover, Pizza Hut's now got one for lunch, too. Calizza, they call it. How they got the recipe, I don't know. Maybe my cousin Angelo gave it to him. It's got sausage and green peppers, a delicious tomato sauce, even a light crust, just like Mama's. And they serve it in 5 minutes, guaranteed.
Calizza Italian turnover at Pizza Hut.
Mama, they might have a Calizza, but you still got me.
CBS Sports presents college football, sponsored by Chevrolet. It's 1986 at your Chevy dealers now. Live today's Chevy. Mr. Goodwrench and General Motors Parts. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Evening beginning to descend on Iowa City, Iowa. It's number 1 and number 2, and 30 minutes of football remain, and then One of these teams will be secure as number 1 because Oklahoma is having some trouble this afternoon, and the other one is destined to slip. 24-7. The Hurricanes, led by Vinny Testaverde. And oh, how Oklahoma missed that nose guard today. There's the kickoff on the ground to a short man. Wilcher picks it up, bang down hard at the 29-yard line. So how do our tailbacks compare here? Well, Ronnie Harmon has rushed for only 35, but look at his receptions. For Jamie Morris, it is that 160-yard return that set up their touchdown. The quarterbacks, Chuck Long has done everything except get the ball in the end zone, and he appeared to do that once, but it was taken away from him. Jimmy Harbaugh has thrown 1 touchdown pass and thrown for 19 yards. So it is first down, and now we'll see, Era, if Bo Schembechler's Wolverine offense can get something going. Here comes Jimmy Harbaugh to the line. From the eye, they will attack. Tailback is Morris. Banging straight ahead. John Freeze. Number 57 there in the middle of that Hawkeye defense, bringing him down, but he gained a good 3 yards.
I think that Michigan is going to have to grind out some first downs. The possession in the first half was so one-sided with Iowa having the ball 20 minutes. Chuck Long is dangerous. They can't afford to do it. Look at the difference in the total offense.
Bob Harriman is now in at fullback for the Wolverines. He is there in front of Morris. Play fake. Harbaugh, he'll run to the right. Throw back, deflected. Caddis diving catch. First down at the 47-yard line. A brilliant reception off a tip.
It was a great catch here by Caddis. This is a good misdirection pass, and you'll see the fullback, number 37, who's Perryman, is wide open. I thought Harbaugh was going to throw him. You don't see him to the right there. Look at that catch by Caddis. He's been playing great all year.
Larry Station just got a hand on that ball. Harbaugh releasing it. Station rose up high, left-handed. Caddis with marvelous concentration. 14-yard gain. First down. Ball's at the 46. Colasar flanked to the left, trying to hear the signal. They'll run Morris off the right side. And the Hawkeyes are not yielding a thing here on first down. This makes it very tough for an offense when you can't gain 4 or 5 yards on a first down, Coach.
The Iowa defense is much improved over 2 weeks ago when Michigan State was here and we were able to do that game. They yielded a lot of yardage in that football game, but they really have improved.
Now this makes Michigan somewhat predictable. They'll split the backs. The corners back up about 7 yards off the wide receivers. Davis shows blitz and then backs off. He drops the screen. Morris, short of a first down. Jay Norvell and Kenny Sims. They come over on the stop for the Hawkeyes, and so if they had gained 4 or 5 yards on first down, they would have had another first down. But because they were so far back, now they must face a 3rd and 2, Coach.
I think Bo probably said at halftime, we've got to keep possession of the football. Keep the pressure off of our defense. We've got to throw the ball. We've got to take some chances in the second half. And they certainly have with a screen and a pass in this ball game.
A record crowd in Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. And just as many more would have loved to have been here. The fake to Perryman. Harbaugh keeps it, dives back in, and he appears to be short of the first down. Jeff Gross, number 76, will be down there near the bottom of that. And there's the signal by Station, who also helped out, over to the sideline. That they'll have 4th and 1. And now Monty Robbins comes into the game to punt. Capel and Smith retreat deep for the Hawkeyes.
Deep for the Hawks, Billy Capel and Robert Smith.
Robbins would like to bury the Hawks inside the 10 here if he can. A bad snap. Picks it up on the bounce, gets it off. Signal fair catch is a bluff, and Brad Cochran touched the ball, but going on into the end zone. They'll bring it out at the 20-yard line. Cochran really got down on coverage that time, didn't he? Well, next week, come along with us again. CBS Sports will take you to the Metrodome. It'll be the Buckeyes of Ohio State against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Lou Holtz has done a terrific job with that team. They win again today. The Buckeyes come from behind. How will Keith Byers do? Here, Hayden Fry and Ronnie Harmon.
Well, Monty Robbins did a terrific job of fielding a bad snap. That ball bounced back there, and he made a nice catch of it and got the punt away.
You can thank the artificial turf. You get that true bounce. Chuck Long coming to the right. Throws back across the grain to Happel. And Bill Happel has caught his 5th pass of the afternoon. It's an 18-yard gain out to the 37.
Boy, is he cool back there. And I'm talking about number 16, Chuck Long. There's Happel, number 40. Watch how cool Long is. He just drops back, rolls out to the right, looks down the right side, then turns back, finds Happel. Look at him throw the ball right there on the money. He is really a great quarterback.
The biggest decision in Iowa football was when Long decided to stay. He hands it off to Harmon, who gets about a yard. Mike Mallory, 42, met him. That decision that Chuck Long faced at the end of last season, whether to take the money and sign with an NFL team or hang in because he had the 5th year of eligibility.
Watch the nose guard, number 58, 56 get blocked, and the linebacker step right up in there. Great job. That's Mallory, number 42, and Moeller, 49.
2nd and 9. Long under pressure, and this time he is dropped. Akers coming in from that outside linebacking spot. One way to stop the great passer. Take him down before he can get it off, and that's the first sack by the Wolverines.
Exactly right, Brent. The best pass defense in the world is to get to the passer before he throws it, particularly in the case of Chuck Long, who is really an accurate thrower.
We've got 10 minutes, 10 seconds left. Quarter number 3. Michigan leading Iowa 7-6. Long pulls out. This time the line holds. Goes to the sideline. Happel working right there, complete near midfield. 19-yard gain. Bill Happel won't outrun anybody. He won't win any strength contests. He's not Mr. Universe. But folks, when you want a receiver open, send Billy Happel on that out pattern and watch him keep those feet inbounds, make a catch, and then get out at the 48-yard line. A first down for the Hawkeyes. Chuck Long made that decision to stay here with Iowa on February 5th. Now he faces the greatest challenge he's looked at this year, and that is that defense Mo Schembechler has put together in Michigan. It's Harmon. Harmon tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Mike Hammerstein got a hand on him. Gained a couple more yards.
Michigan defense is doing a good job on Harmon, number 31 there. But there's the man right there that is the big problem to the Wolverines, number 16, Chuck Long.
He took out an insurance policy of $1 million on his career as a football player. Second and 7. Ball at the 49. Play fake by Long. He's got time. Drops it off in the middle to Harmon. Harmon comes around the umpire inside the 40-yard line. First down for Iowa. Fred Bush with a great block. 11 more yards for Harmon on a pass from Chuck Long. Schembechler must be fretting about Long.
See, Harmon just fakes the tailback action, just leaks through. Long does not find any deep receivers, and he gives it to his most dangerous runner.
They hand it off to Harmon, looking for daylight, and he is brought down. That was Jeff Akers, 33.
Akers is playing a whale of a football game. He's been in on that one sack, and he has stopped Harmon several times.
Scrimmage, the Michigan 34. Second down, 6 for the Hawks.
Oh, some other scores from the top 20 today. Sooners in deep trouble. And how about Texas? The Cotton Bowl could be on the line in that one. Long pulls out. Waits, comes back to Happel at the 30-yard line. He is short of a first down, however.
Great catch by Happel.
Penn State hanging on. They trailed at one point in that game. Nebraska wins, but only by 8 over Missouri. And in the third, Georgia Tech leading Auburn and Bo Jackson. The Air Force off to a great season, but facing pressure today. All right, here's 3rd and 2. Bootleg. Near the first down spot, Aaron. It'll depend on where they spot the ball.
Got it.
And the crowd will tell you just that. Well, Era, so far this Michigan defense has bent, but they have not broken.
But you can't put them under pressure all afternoon. 20 minutes in the first half, and it looks like it might be 20 minutes in the second half.
Split backs. Happel's working from the short side. Long comes underneath, incomplete. Wanted his tight end that time, Mike Flagg, number 86, and Long missed it. Chuck Long from Wheaton, Illinois, and there's his daddy, and Andy, his brother there, and Joan and Charles Long, and they couldn't be prouder of a son than Chuck Long. Coming up now to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. It's the fullback, Hudson, out behind the middle.
To about the 23-yard line.
And the official quickly steps in there.
Stop by Mike Mallory.
So Mike Mallory in on another stop.
Try to break Hudson through here, figuring the Michigan defense will go for Harmon, but you can see the interior of that Michigan defensive line is not yielding yardage very well.
That was such a good picture of Mallory, showing you what a great college linebacker has to do. Get the blocker off the body right now. So many of these youngsters get pinned down by a blocker, but not Mallory. He shed him so he could make the tackle. Long, throws sideline, intercepted by Heron. Peter Heron picks it off, and he's got it at the 9-yard line. Bend and bend and bend some more, but don't break. That's the story of this group, and they're as good as anybody you ever want to see. Chuck Long's mother can understand now.
That really was a big interception, because this is 3rd down. Peter Heron drops off into the flat. You see Long throwing the ball here, and what he gives away, not only the ball on the interception, but 3 points that would have put him ahead 9-7.
Mark Mesner set up that interception with penetration. We'll be right back.
This is today's Chevrolet S10 Blazer.
For the fun, for the chores, for the town, on the great outdoors.
Now get low 8.8% financing on new 85 S10 Blazers, pickups, and maxi-cabs. Chevy S10 Blazer can do it all with versatility, style, and a touch of fun. No wonder it's America's favorite sport utility vehicle, Chevy S10 Blazer.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
You're Melanie Sherwood, the famous actress.
Oh, I loved your last picture, Miss Sherwood. You ought to win an award.
No, 76 Gasoline should win the award. Who, our gasoline? For outstanding performance in the category of cleaning carburetors.
Well, it is good.
Good? It's superb, dear boy. It helped my car run smoother, idle better.
Well, I guess it should get an award.
And I accept. On behalf of 76 Gasoline, I'd like to thank everyone.
Fill her up with spirit.
My station attendant and all the little people.
The spirit of 76.
The first-place Cowboys renew their heated rivalry with the Eagles, or see the Redskins take on the Giants among the regional games tomorrow on CBS Sports.
And prior to those games, the NFL today, 12:30 Eastern time. Big day for you. Irv Cross on the best offense is John Madden and Pete Rose at the first game of the World Series. 6:33 to go in the third. Michigan's offense trying to eat up some precious minutes and get something going. It's only a 1-point Wolverine lead. Kolesar in motion. He runs the tailback Wilcher. Thomas Wilcher had checked back in. And he got out near the 14-yard line. Millett, 98, helping out on that tackle.
Watch John Vitale, the left guard, just below the center right here. He double teams on Peterson right there. Knocks him out of there. That is Mike Kraus. I'm sorry, the strong side was to the left. Mike Kraus, 51, does it.
Now Bob Perryman is in at fullback, and they split Wilcher and Perryman. Harbaugh to throw on second down. Over the middle, and Jokic, number 84, wraps it up at the 29-yard line. A first down, something Michigan badly needed with that 15-yard gain.
I think he knows he needs to take chances down here. You see Harbaugh dropping right straight back into the pocket. Gets good protection here. He has plenty of time. Good throw to Jokic right there. He's well covered there by Devon Mitchell, but he hangs on to the ball. First down for the Wolverines.
So the former basketball player, the valuable 14 yards. It is out near the 30. Gerald White back at fullback, and he's got it right straight ahead. Out to the 35-yard line, Larry Station. Number 36 hauls him down right there. But the Michigan offense right now is throwing some pop off the ball there.
Right, Clay Miller that time, the right tackle, really blocked Jeff Drost.
Schembechler's staff, full of experience. This for Bo, of course, is such a tremendous season personally, coming back from his worst season ever. You saw Perryman bring the play in from the sideline. He's the fullback in this eye. Instead, they'll try to run Wilcher, and the Hawkeyes were ready. The ends in the Iowa defense have played better here today, much better than they did against Michigan State.
This, just as we were told yesterday, that the defense was improving steadily. They're young. They lost 7 to 8 starters from a year ago, and it's tough to build a defense. But they really have improved in 2 weeks, and they really played that particular tailback off tackle that Michigan ran exceptionally well.
Millett, the right defensive end, number 98. They've challenged him repeatedly here today. Kolesar in motion. A fake. Harbaugh comes back, dropped by Wilcher. He had the first down, began to turn, should have caught it for the Wolverines, cannot hold on, and Monty Robbins will have to punt.
You see Harbaugh just off the tailback action. Wilcher just sneaks right on through. Harbaugh wants to run, then he sees Wilcher open, and he should have caught the football, but he wanted to run before he caught it.
Just turned around, said, look at all that daylight, and took his eye off the ball for a moment, and wound up costing them a valuable first down. Now it's Robbins to punt it again. Gets this one down toward Happel, signaling fair catch, wraps it up at the 24-yard line. 4 minutes to go in the third period. It's a 41-yard punt. You're watching number 1 and number 2. Number 1 trails by a point.
Everyone who loves chicken nuggets is going to love this news. Except McDonald's. The news is that people who said they've ever tried Kentucky Nuggets and McDonald's chicken nuggets rated our Kentucky Nuggets higher on taste. Maybe it's our secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, or because ours are made by the chicken experts. Well, come see for yourself. We think everyone will love our nuggets. Everyone. Except McDonald's.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
State Farm is there when disaster strikes.
It was on a Sunday morning. A tornado leveled this house and several others on this block. One of them belonged to my policyholders, the Roberts family. Monday morning, I got the State Farm disaster crew over there, and they got right to work on their claims. 3 months later, they were in their rebuilt house. Thankfully, the Roberts didn't need their life for health insurance, but their home and car insurance sure came in handy.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In all of the great outdoors, there's beauty to hold forever, forever in stamps, and some creatures great and small, forever in stamps. Let's keep our friends strong and free.
Save the wonder for all to see.
Forever in stamps.
Come discover stamp collecting. Bring home America's animals, including our magnificent horses, waiting at the post office now.
There's a very special story involving the Long family, whom you met just a short time ago. And I had an opportunity to talk to Chuck Long about his family, as you see Charles Joan and his brother Andy.
Well, you know, my brother is truly a great inspiration to me because he was born with cerebral palsy, and I know that, you know, as a brother, he'd give anything to be in my shoes. He'd give anything to be normal. You know, he comes to all the ball games, and he's very special to me. He's always in my prayers and my thoughts during each game, and you know, I just know that after a victory, even after a loss, when he's smiling at me, you know, when I come out of the locker room, he means so much to me, and he's just a great inspiration as far as that's concerned.
That's Chuck Long, the human being. First and 10. Complete to Happel. And Billy breaks a tackle and gets out beyond the 35. First down before Gant finally brings him down. And again, Long starts the mounted drive. Another 14 yards.
One of their favorite patterns, and Happel is a tremendous athlete. I don't think he's had a bad game. Here he is with the, right here now, he should have been knocked down for about a 2 or 3 yard gain, and look at him keep his balance and come upfield for a 14-yard gain.
First and 10 for the Hawkeyes. The ball is at the 38. Long off the draw, runs Harmon, daylight in the middle. Great call by the Hawkeyes, down to the 48-yard line. Another first down on a 14-yard gain.
Frank, Michigan gives about 220 yards a game, and already Iowa's exceeded that by about 40 yards. Look at Harmon, a perfect draw, and they get the linebackers blocked. You could see Moeller, 49, blocked. And finally, Doug Mallory comes in number 8 to make the play, along with help from Ivan Hicks.
David Hudson in at fullback threw a key block that time on the draw for Harmon. They fake Harmon. Long looking for an open receiver. Harmon's there underneath, and he drops the ball. So Ronnie Harmon is one of the great running backs in college football. There's another one. Pat Hayden, tell us about him.
Well, Brent, Bo Schembechler's having a good afternoon, but another Bo Jackson, is having a Heisman Trophy afternoon. Watch this run, 76 yards when Auburn really needed it. They were trailing here, but they go on top 17-14. By the way he runs, you think the Heisman Trophy was waiting for him. Let's go back to Brent Nero.
All right, and Chuck Long is trying to respond to that challenge and climb up there in contention if he can. And again, the draw with Harmon. Cuts back against the grain, carries a tackler inside the 40-yard line. Close again to a first down.
Excellent change of pace on the part of the offense of Iowa. Long was throwing the ball. Now they're coming back, faking the pass, slipping the ball to Harmon. 2 draws have really paid off. As you see, Hudson, number 20, came through and made a nice lead block.
You know, Hudson is emerging here this afternoon as a potential star in this Hawkeye attack. He is out at the state of Texas, 6'2", 227, and of course Hayden Fry grew up down there, down in Odessa, Texas. He was the captain of a high school football team that won the state championship before he went on to Baylor. And then, of course, he was the head coach after an assistantship at Arkansas, of SMU and North Texas State, before coming here and lifting this Hawkeye program like a phoenix out of the ashes. He has taken the Hawkeyes to a bowl game in each of the last 4 years. So from Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa, along with Ara Parseghian, I'm Brent Musburger. 2:45 to go in the third. Number 2, Michigan leads number 1, Iowa, 7-6, as Chuck Long puts his helmet down goes for the first down. Era, it is interesting when you're on your own field, and of course the chain gang is associated with the university. In close calls like that, I saw the man who's holding the first down marker signal across the field by moving the stick. That allows the Iowa coaches to have just a few more precious seconds to think about what they want to do on first down. That's like the timer, you know, when you're playing basketball and the guy's over there and you need a couple extra seconds or something, he can squeeze it out. There's Harmon sweeping to the left for the Hawkeyes. Michigan strings the play out. Brad Cochran finally rides him out of bounds there near the 35-yard line. And of course, there are no lights here at Kinnick Stadium, so they brought in the portables. And the field is illuminated for the conclusion of this game. We are now after 5 o'clock here in Iowa. It has been an overcast, cloudy weekend. Rained heavily yesterday, throughout the evening, and again this morning. But somebody knew number 1 was playing number 2. The rain stopped. The bad weather is held off. As soon as they told us that the sun was shining in Waterloo, Coach, I knew we were all right. Second and about 7. Long back under pressure. Drops it off to Hudson, the fullback. Hudson ridden down, but he appeared to have the first down as Akers put a saddle on him, and Hudson said, let's go a few more yards.
Long is able to hit his 3rd and 4th choices on passes. He comes back here faking the play to Harmon. Then they slip on through. Both Hudson and Harmon go through. Long is patient with it. He finds Hudson right there, number 20. And he is a load. He's tough to bring down. Excellent play by the Iowa Hawks.
1st and 10. Can Long get the ball in again? Well, he's found a fullback. David Hudson, only a sophomore. Set in front of Harmon. They let Hudson try it. He breaks another tackle at the line of scrimmage, and I believe they had him wrapped up there, Billy Harris, and he got away from him.
Long is 19 for 28, 227 yards with that 1 interception on their last possession that robbed them at least of a 3-pointer to take the lead. But they're back down in not only field goal position, but they're challenging here with 2nd down and about 7.
Now, the wind is really not too much of a factor. I should point out they do have whatever exists at their back, however, with time running out here in the 3rd quarter. Long. Over the middle, complete the flag, the tight end. Near the 20-yard line, but short of that first down.
We got that same situation coming up. 3rd down and short.
Well, we've got a season premiere coming for you next weekend on CBS Sports. The Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks. And some of you are saying, so what? Well, it's not so what. That's Patrick Ewing's debut. You want to see him in action. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's Ewing and the Knicks against Mo Malone and the Sixers. Here in Iowa City, we've come to the end of the 3rd. Michigan 7, Iowa 6. Number 1 and number 2 have come down to the last 15 minutes.
The Patrick Ewing era begins next Saturday on CBS Sports.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Today, Chevrolet is making it fun with an international auto show.
Take a look. Get the feel.
See the world from behind the wheel.
Come and be a part of it all.
Today, Chevrolet introduces your next small car. It's designed for high quality, high affordability, and fun. This year, more than 750,000 Americans will buy a small car at your Chevy dealer's International Auto Show. Shouldn't you?
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy. Chevy.
This is CBS.
In 1935, Thermogas was founded on the principle of superior personal service to our customers. From economical propane gas for homes and industry to modern appliances and Hopkate liquid fertilizer, Thermogas customers still enjoy that same old-fashioned personal service. It's our way of doing business for 50 years. Thermogas, proud of our past, committed to your future.
At Mercy, they make it so comfortable for the father. They make it so exciting and so fulfilling.
And they made me feel like I was the first and only person that had ever given birth to a child before.
I'm from a family of 10. When my father had his 10 children, he never got to see any of them born.
We had a very beautiful experience at Mercy. The nursing staff was fantastic. They were there when we needed them.
One of the neatest experiences anybody could ever go through is seeing their own child being born.
CBS Sports presents college football, sponsored by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Visa, accepted worldwide for shopping, dining, and travel. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation.
Minutes to go, the final quarter. It's 1 against 2. And here it is 3rd and 3. And the best offense fumble on the exchange. A fumble at the line of scrimmage. Long was pulling out, did not have the football. And because of that, they'll have to send the field goal team onto the field. They recovered it right away. Sendlinger and Long. Long was looking out to the left, getting ready to take the exchange. He backs out, and the ball came up through the hands, struck him, gets back down on the carpet, but Iowa holds on. And now an important field goal. 36-yard attempt. Holtland's kick is up. It's good. Iowa leads. And again, the Michigan defense does not surrender a touchdown. They've played 23 quarters, have the Wolverines on defense, and they've given up only 1 touchdown all season long. But the Hawkeye fans are celebrating right now because that 3rd field goal by Holtland just moved Iowa into the lead, 9-7. And Vlasic said, way to go, big fella. Let's hold on now. It's 9-7.
And he's made 12 out of 14, which is not a shabby percentage.
Now, Ara Parsegian said the big point in this game is the fact that Michigan's defense has been on the field too long against Hayden Fry's offense. There's the playing time, and you can see Michigan out on that field almost twice as long defensively as Iowa. Has to take its toll.
I think it's a tribute to the Iowa defense, which is much improved and doing an excellent job.
Kennan to White, who's one of the short men, and this is pretty good field position. So again, Iowa is troubled by that kicking game. Holtland's sore leg, and they're not kicking him off, so we got great defense here this afternoon. Remember another 1 versus 2? Sure you do. It was these 2 teams, 1979. Penn State against Alabama. And now, here comes Penn State. Mike Gooman, hit head on by Barry Krause and thrown back. Alabama, number 2, prevails over Penn State, number 1. 14-7 the final. And here, another tough defensive game. 3 field goals. Iowa, number 1 with the lead. Number 2 with the ball. Harbaugh pulls out, sends his backs into the formation, hits Eric Caddis, and Larry Station hauls him down at the 41-yard line. But a good first down gain by Harbaugh. Now, what would you do strategically if you were sending Bo some plays from up here where you've been watching, Aaron?
I think just exactly what he did on that first down play. Go ahead and throw the football off of run action, and on 3rd down, go for sprint draws, that type of thing. But the Iowa defense has played exceptionally well in the first 3 quarters thus far in this game.
Bob Perryman in at fullback. Harbaugh hands it to him straight ahead in a big hole. So they send the short men. One of the things when you play Michigan, you can never forget the fullback because Schembechler will shove him down your throat. 17 yards by Perriman.
We look from an end zone shot here. It's just a quick, they fake the ball to Jamie Morris, and they pop the ball to the fullback. Good blocking at the point. That's Vitale right there, number 67. And you can see Bob Perriman come right into the secondary, and they're down, and well, not in the field goal position, but they got the first down at the 41.
White replaces Perriman. And they'll run Jamie Morris up the middle. Daylight trying to split the safeties, and they haul him down inside the 20-yard line. That's as big a play as we've seen here this afternoon. Anytime you make the safeties, tackle that tailback, you know you got something going, and he'd run for 23 yards before Mitchell and Norvell come over.
Can't believe Tavicino, number 77, gets a great job there on station number 36. You see Devon Mitchell finally bring him down. There was big blocking, two big plays.
Tavicino works over the nose, clears the middle, and Morris, who returned a kickoff 60 yards, does the rest. It's 1st and 10, and the Wolverines are on the chase. Harbaugh yelling the play at the line of scrimmage, and Iowa darts across, and now the penalty flags come down.
This crowd noise has without question been a factor. They're going to assess a penalty, I think, to Iowa. Or they may call both sides offsides.
Now Iowa says we were pulled offside. Procedure! And Schembechler is out at the 25-yard line. Comes in for the sideline. Bo Schembechler says, all right, you're the closest, Zebra. I'll give you an earful. It's 1st and 15. Harbaugh back. Drops it out to Whiten. What a hit over there on that side. Oh, Nate Queer came and did some business, number 29. Let's find out, really, if Bo had a beef on this play.
See what happens here. 51 moved, but he did not cross the line. If he picked up his hand, then it's an automatic 5-yard penalty.
There's movement there.
If his hand is picked up, oh, yes, he moves.
All right, 2nd and 19 now with Jimmy Harbaugh. Split backs. Harbaugh pulls out the blitz. Station had a hand on him. Incomplete in the end zone. They send their All-American linebacker. And Larry Station was about to have Harbaugh's head.
The blitz right here by both Davis and Station. Right there. Station gets to him. Harbaugh launches the ball. He had the receiver open, but he didn't have enough time to throw it accurately.
It's 3rd down and 19. Iowa came with the blitz that time. Harbaugh back under pressure, scrambles to the right. And the Iowa defense with George Davis, their other inside linebacker, helping bring him down that time. They rise to the occasion with their best defensive series of the afternoon.
Dayton Fry, been around a long time, has done a marvelous job here.
So the penalty winds up hurting, and Mike Gillette will attempt a 40-yard field goal that would put Michigan back into the lead. It's long enough and it's good. The Wolverines lead 10-9. 10:55 to go, and 1 and 2 still raging at each other in Iowa City.
manage, to handle or direct with skill. Rockwell International Management stimulates the work of its 120,000 employees, 1 in 6 a scientist or engineer. Their elegant solutions to customer needs make Rockwell a world leader. Rockwell International. Managing high technology for global markets.
I own a PC and a VCR, a condo on the beach, and my own company. But I don't own a car. I lease with GMAC. For me, leasing was smarter than buying. There's no major down payment, and since I worked out the terms with my GM dealer, I can pay less each month. It was easy. Now I've got the new car I want, and leasing frees up my money for other things.
GMAC Leasing, only at your GM dealer. For you, it just might be smarter than buying.
The Big Ten race is hot and getting hotter. The Ohio State Buckeyes will face the Golden Gophers of Minnesota in college football next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Back live, 10:55 to go. Along with Eric Harsigan, I'm Brent Musburger. Michigan leading Iowa 10-9, and again, it's Jamie Morris who popped through with the big play. He'd already returned a kickoff 60 yards, and here the tailback gets through for 23 yards against the middle of that Hawkeye defense. Then after a 5-yard penalty, the Hawkeyes stiffen on defense. A blitz by Larry Station affects Jimmy Harbaugh's pass into the end zone, and Michigan settles for a field goal. And Gillette nails it. It's 10-9 Michigan, 10:55 to go. As good as we expected.
Exactly. Just what we expected.
Rick Sutkowitz. Kick it off, and Robert Smith with brilliant speed. Sutkowitz drives Harmon into the end zone. No return on that kickoff. Chuck Long and the Hawkeyes will take over on the 20-yard line. It was just 2 weeks ago. But a reminder that next Saturday, the Ohio State Buckeyes will take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. And we'll see if we can get an ending there like we're going to have here today and 2 weeks ago, when the Hawkeyes had their backs against the wall when they took on Michigan State, and they drove down 80 yards with Chuck Long calling the bootleg play that gave them that win, 35-31. Now Long brings the Hawks to the line of scrimmage. Runs the draw again, and it's Harmon. Jitterbugging out close to a first down. Never seen anybody since, well, sure, Gale Sayers could do it, but he stops and then starts as quickly as any runner I can remember in a long time. And he gained 9.5 yards on the day. How are you doing?
23 for 78. It was a good call. The draw play was good because Michigan was deployed anticipating a pass. A lot of linebackers back, and there was only 3 or 4 linemen up there, and there was a lot of daylight for Harmon to pick that time.
Remember when Bart Starr used to throw all the time in second and short? They show the power eye. They're going to throw out of it. Down the side to Robert Smith. He's crunched out of bounds at the 44. That's the second time today that Iowa, in second and short, has shown the power eye and passed.
A run action pass off the power eye. Look at it from an end zone shot. Faking the ball to Harmon, which holds him. And watch Long put the ball right where it should be. Not enough response by Garland Rivers. Cannot get to the ball.
That's like having a free passing down when you're 2.5 yards. Because you got to have confidence that you can always come back on third, get the first down, and keep it going. Now 10 minutes on the clock, a lot of time. Ball is near the 45, and here comes Harmon. Getting out near midfield, and again we see the Hawkeyes putting a move on this defense that has not broken here yet today. So 2 of the unbeaten squaring off here. Penn State prevailed Florida easily. And you can see that Oklahoma having great difficulty in the 4th quarter. Arkansas also losing, and Air Force goes to 7-0. Let's hear it for the Pentagon team. Even Navy won today. Army, though, lost to Notre Dame. 2nd and 6, and Long will throw it. Pump fake, looks back, goes for the home run, but he's going to overthrow everybody. And that Michigan defense, that deep zone, they will not let you get beyond. Garland Rivers was not giving Happel the home run in that situation.
Well, we knew coming in here that there was a reason, obviously, why they were leading the nation in scoring defense, giving up 4.2 points per game, several field goals, but only 1 touchdown. But here they are in this football game where Michigan has only had 174 yards in total offense, while Iowa has 332, yet they have not had a touchdown on the board yet.
Here they come back here, 3rd and 6. Long has time, but his receivers are covered. Now he comes back to the left. Helverson inside the 40. Out of bounds, 1st down, Hawkeyes.
What a job by Long, and also the Iowa offensive line. They gave him a lot of time to throw the ball. The one thing that really impresses me is that Long, when he comes back, sees the whole field. If a receiver isn't open, he scrambled out to the right here. He looks downfield, looking for anyone that might come open. He finds Helverson clear on the opposite side. Number 87 right here. The ball's right there. What a job by Long. Tremendous.
Scott Helverson, a one-time walk-on. But you can believe that Hayden Fry marked him down for a full scholarship a long time ago. 1st and 10 inside the 40. Up a quick count and a draw by Harmon. Harmon trying to get to the right. Down near the 35.
About the 34-yard line.
Let's show you exactly what we've been talking about when it comes to Ronnie Harmon's feet. He will come up and he will stop on this and then just dart. There's the stop, almost to a complete stop. Then ever so quickly swinging out to the right. You know how tough it is to try and tackle somebody who's moving like that? I mean, it's almost impossible when he puts a move on. Here is 2nd and 6. Long straight back, throws to Happel. Happel drilled out of bounds by Garland Rivers. Oh, Rivers hit him like a ton over there on that sideline. They get another 1st down, however.
One of their favorite passes, I'll tell you, just the out pattern. Watch Long put some steam on that one. There's Happel again on one of the favorite patterns of Iowa. They just keep breaking your back with that particular play.
Happel, coach, has caught 9 passes for 107 yards right now. There you can see how much they have been here today, but Bo Schembechler says, we ain't let you in the end zone yet. And it's 10-9. Schembechler and Michigan ahead. 8:25 to go. That top ranking. Who knows? Maybe a Rose Bowl trip on the line. Here comes Harmon. He stepped inside the 25. Out of bounds at the 24-yard line. You know, speaking of bowls there, we've got the Cotton Bowl and 6 others represented here today. I'm sure the Orange is represented. So now we've got a 2nd and 6. Helverson and Long coming back in from the side. Yeah, wouldn't that be some Cotton Bowl? I'd hate to jinx Iowa, but how about the 50 of the rematch with Texas and Iowa? You think the Horns wouldn't like this shot at that? Chuck Long got him for 6 touchdowns last year. Oh, he's crushed this time. The defense was ready, and they came with the blitz.
One of the few times that Michigan has gone man-to-man, blitzed from, and they guessed right. They blitzed from the wide side of the field and knocked Long down for negative yardage. Now, they have not been taking any chances. Watch at the top of the screen. You see that they're in man coverage this time, and you see right there, Ivan Hicks, right, comes in from the strong side of the field.
Trying to keep that record intact. If you'd like a defensive stat on Michigan, how about this one? They've yet to give up an extra point this year. That's right, 1 touchdown, but the extra point failed.
Witness the birth of a bright new star, created through the joint effort of General Motors and Toyota. Nova, from today's Chevrolet. Nova, the best of both worlds. with room and comfort, attention to details, and responsive performance. New Nova from today's Chevrolet. It's not just better, it's the best of both worlds.
Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy.
Nova.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdales have been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive Beechwood aging, and a distinctively clean, crisp taste only Budweiser can offer. Quality taste, because this Bud's for you.
You're watching live coverage of the Iowa Hawkeyes against the Michigan Wolverines, who, as this week continued, wound up ranked #1 Iowa and #2 Michigan in the Associated Press poll of broadcasters and writers across the nation. 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go. The Hawkeyes face a 3rd and 16 error.
And it will be their 70th play when they run it to Michigan's 38. I'll be interested to see whether Michigan takes any chances here by going to man-to-man or zoning off again. Long has picked up more than just 16 yards on other zone coverages. Let's see if they do it again. Nope, they're in zone again.
Yeah, Hicks has dropped off, and Long rolls in that way. Now he's going to keep it, but he'll be far short of a first down. However, is he close enough to allow Holtland now to attempt what would be his 4th field goal if successful?
I think he is. Holtland's got good range. There's a light wind in his face, but he'll be kicking the equivalent of a, let's see, about 40, going to put the ball down 44 yards, I think, Brett.
He's a junior out of Glenview, Illinois. He attended high school at New Trier in the Chicago area. Ball is down at the 34, and the kick is on its way, but it's going to be short. So Michigan's 1-point lead continues with 7:38. And that staunch Michigan defense has done it again.
Just unbelievable. I mean, you can't believe that this team has not scored a touchdown.
And yet, do you realize that the Hawkeyes have scored almost twice as many points as Michigan has been allowing? So it's 10-9. Michigan with the lead on Iowa. Welcome those of you who watched Auburn come back behind Bo Jackson and beat Georgia Tech 17-14. We are live in Iowa City, 7:38 left in the game. Michigan leading Iowa 10-9. The Hawkeyes have just missed an attempted field goal of 44 yards. The Wolverines run the tailback, Jamie Morris, out beyond the 30-yard line. And, Arab, how do you look at the Michigan offense and what it must do right now?
I think Michigan has got to grind out some first downs. They've got to run that clock down because Iowa is so dangerous with Long and the receivers and Harmon that they can score at any time or get into field goal position. Bo would love to be able to hold on to that football for a while. Iowa obviously are going to try to take the ball away and get it back in Harmon's hands.
Perryman is at fullback. He brought the play in. Harbaugh hands to Perryman, trying to get straight ahead, but short of the first down. So those of you who joined us, either from the other game or perhaps you're just back in the house, here's how the scoring went. Holtland kicked his first field goal, 35 yards, and Iowa took a 3-0 lead. But then it was Harbaugh to White on a shovel pass, and Michigan led for the first time. Iowa, though, soon moved to within a point. It was a 7-6 game, and Holtland had the Hawkeyes ahead 9-7 before Gillette kicked a field goal for Bo Schembechler. It was 10-9. And here, it is 3rd and 2. Harbaugh checking off at the line. Comes with a tailback read brilliantly by the Iowa team, and Larry Station, their All-American linebacker, just brutalizes him.
Iowa took a chance by going to a goal line defense. Station came right through the gap. As we take another look at it, number 36 Station, as you see, the lead blocker does not picks up the one linebacker. Station takes him down. Iowa's going to get the football back.
So it's coming down to this. Robbins to punt for the Wolverines. Happel and an ever-dangerous Smith are back deep. They have been punting away from Smith all game long. And Happel has been signaling for one fair catch after another. Low snap. Robbins gets a booming high punt. Happel fair catches at the 22-yard line. So when you come back, it'll be Chuck Long at Iowa against the best defense in the land.
You'd never expect to catch a fish in downtown Austin. Yet that's the reason people come to the Austin Angler, one of the few places in Texas you can get a custom-made split bamboo fly rod and a fresh-tied woolly worm to go on the end. So if you go there, remember, keep your rod tip up and put your Visa card down. Because at the Angler, they don't take fishing lightly, and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Today's Chevrolet is a little import called Spectrum, a spectacular combination of fun and practicality. We call it
Spectrumality.
Solid.
Spectrumality.
Price.
Spectrumality.
Room.
Spectrumality.
Technology.
Spectrumality.
Spirit.
Spectrumality.
economy and more, all part of the new Chevy Spectrum, a spectacular combination of fun and practicality called
Spectrumality. Live today, Chevy. Chevy.
At every level of competition, he's been a champion. The Patrick Ewing era begins next Saturday against Moses Malone and the 76ers on CBS Sports.
Texas stuns Arkansas. There was another time, 1969, when Texas was 1 and Arkansas was 2, and Darrell Royal called that great pass. It was James Street to Randy Peschel. That pulled it out for the Horns, and now the Longhorns are very much back in contention for a Cotton Bowl. And how about this shocker this afternoon? Vinny Testaverde is for real, 27-14. Bernie Kosar won his debut in the NFL last week with the Cleveland Browns, and the young man who replaced him did a great job this afternoon in leading them to victory against Oklahoma. We'll have the Hurricanes on our CBS schedule a little bit later in the season. 1st and 10 now, 5:27, long out, under pressure, going down, and Harmon drops the ball.
Pass intended for Ronnie Harmon, incomplete.
Monty Robbins has punted extremely well for Bo Schembechler. There is no doubt in my mind, but that the kicking game has been the big difference. Robbins with the punt, Gillette has kicked the field goal to put them ahead, and Morris returned that kickoff 60 yards. And Ara Parseghian, just what you said at the top of the day, if there's anything that'll decide a big game like this, it could be the kicking game.
Two big giants playing like this, that's what's going to happen. The penalties, the kicking game, turnovers, and a great defense on the part of both teams in this game.
5:23 off a great play fake, freezes a backer, long down the sideline to Smith, almost intercepted by Brad Cochran, number 30. It is almost impossible to throw deep against this zone coverage employed by the Wolverines.
Cochran had the ball in his hands. I'm not so sure about Long's judgment on this particular play, but look at Harmon, number 31, open right there, right in your screen. Long elects to go deep. Cochran reacts very well. Fortunately for the Hawkeyes, he drops the football right there. And Iowa will have a 3rd and 10.
Happel and Helverson. Their two great control receivers check in, and Cochran, one of the standouts on this defensive unit. What a cornerback he is. He tightens up right away on Helverson, just 3 yards away from him, out to the left. Long looking for Helverson, and Helverson got to move, and they throw underneath to the tight end flag. Flag is out of bounds, and he is close to a 1st down. Era, did he have it?
Looks very, very close.
Pending for Michigan, number 17.
It's marked on this sideline, and yep, you got it.
5 minutes and 8 seconds.
Flag has been very quiet in this particular ball game, but here he is making a great catch for a 1st down and gives Iowa 3 more opportunities at least.
Era, we saw Cochran come up to make the hit. What transpired early was that Helverson took him off the line and quickly put an out move on him. Cochran turned to look at him, and as he did, they sent the tight end underneath. It was a beautifully executed pattern for the 1st down by Chuck Long and the Hawkeyes. Straight back from the middle, incomplete.
Receivers were pretty well covered that time, even though that Michigan was in a zone. The receivers were well covered. A lot of people around all the potential receivers.
Andy Moeller in particular, and Hap Peterson of the defensive unit yelling encouragement to his offense. 5 minutes to go, and long on the day is
24 completions and 37 attempts for 280 yards, just one interception.
Jamie Morris, who has contributed 2 big plays to the Wolverines this afternoon. Now they hand to Harmon. Harmon trying to get ahead of steam. Gets out beyond the 45 for a first down. They make Hicks come up to finally bring him down. No jitterbugging that time. Just straight ahead quickness on the part of Harmon. Harmon on the day has rushed for 101 yards. He has caught passes totaling 72 more. Down to the last 4:54. Number 1 trying to come back against number 2.
Well, we saw Iowa operate under pressure 2 weeks ago against Michigan State, and they bailed it out.
Here's Harmon, sweep right. The inside was cut off, and they string the play out. That time, Michigan did not leave any gaps for Harmon to cut back, and Akers finally made the tackle on him, but they sealed off all the openings with that wall that they like to pose.
Jeff Akers did an excellent job. Take a look from the Iowa side, just a pitch sweep to Harmon. Look at the white shirts. Now watch Jeff Akers, number 33, fight through the blockers and make the tackle on Harmon. An excellent job by Jeff Akers.
And did you see number 42, Mike Mallory? He was not allowing Harmon to cut back. Great defense. They don't send 2 men to one spot. They hold their ground. Harmon up the middle. And that's going to leave Chuck Long and the Hawkeyes with a big 3rd down. And Jimmy Harbaugh pacing the sidelines and knowing he might have to go back out there and kill this clock.
And will Michigan go to man-to-man and try to blitz Long, or will they drop off in the zone as they have done about 95% of the time this afternoon?
Robert Smith, the speedster, checks into that huddle, and so does Quinn Ehrlich.
Long has picked up countless number of first downs on 3rd and long. Can he do it again?
They use the I formation. Long is back. Over the middle, first down. He went to flag. The tight end. So that's twice he is hitting for critical first downs.
And up to this drive, flag had not been much in the ballgame. He's only caught 3, 2 of them on this drive. Here it is again with Long in the pocket, staying poised, and he hits Mike Flagg, number 86, for the first down.
3 minutes and 5 seconds remain in Iowa City. Michigan leads Iowa 10-9. The Hawkeyes again on the move, but so far the Wolverines have not let them across that goal line with a touchdown. And Long is going to use one of Iowa's remaining timeouts. They are now down to their last timeout. So we'll take a break. And then when we come back, it'll be the last 2:51.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Up here, power when you need it can save your neck. When you get back down to your car, it helps too. Today's smaller engines need extra firepower from a spark plug, and AC delivers. If you could look inside your engine, you'd see an AC spark plug delivering up to 30,000 volts, firing 30 times a second. Firepower when you need it from AC.
Get rebates now on AC spark plugs.
Never wait for trouble.
Sometimes getting car financing turns out to be one long hassle.
What kind of car did you have in mind?
A Fiero.
Oh, an Italian car.
It's a Pontiac from General Motors.
They make Chevrolets, Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Cadillacs.
GMC trucks. This is none of my business, but those are not Italian cars.
Make it easy on yourself. Finance your car or truck right at your GM dealer with GMAC.
You understand, we do have to know what you want to do with all these cars.
Nobody knows more about financing and leasing cars than GMAC.
Agatha Christie's most famous snoop puts his nose to another case of murder most foul. Peter Ustinov and Faye Dunaway in Agatha Christie's 13 at Dinner.
That's tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time, the NFL Today. Irv Cross, John Madden, and Pete Rose all live. And then regional coverage. Most of you will be watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Are the Washington Redskins all the way back? You'll find out tomorrow, so check your local listings for the game and time in your area. We'll start tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Here we're down to 2:51. First and 10 for Iowa, trailing by a point. Here comes Harmon. There's a hole. Ronnie Harmon across the 30. Another first down.
And Ronnie Harmon is the first back this year to gain more than 100 yards against the Michigan defense. From the end zone, you'll see excellent blocking on the left side of the line. Number 35, Bush, a fullback, did a beautiful job of blocking out, and Harmon really popped through there.
Dave Croston helped open that hole in the offensive line. That demonstrates his greatness because the Wolverines have shut down on all kinds of running backs this year. First and 10. Ronnie to try it again. Penalty marker is down. Thrown near the line of scrimmage, right there where an umpire could assess holding. On a first and 10, there's a penalty marker thrown. And an important one against the Hawkeyes with 2:22 remaining.
Tough penalty. Brent, up to this point, Michigan has made 9 first downs, Iowa 25.
So it will be now first and 20. The ball is stepped back to the 36. A little more breathing room for this Michigan defense. Gary Moeller, the coordinator, signals in the play. And now Mallory has passed it along to the defense. Long rolling, moves his pocket under pressure, and he can't get it off. There is a penalty marker down near the 10-yard line, however. There is a penalty marker down near the 10-yard line.
Must be defensive holding. Yep.
A critical call against the Wolverines, and Schembechler says, well, he's not saying anything. Just in case the Wolverines have to come back one last time, Harbaugh is getting ready.
Well, those 2 penalties have moved them out of field goal range and now back in field goal range. But it's still a first down play, Brent.
And the ball will be spotted there at the 26-yard line with the first down. And of course now you have to consider Rob Houtland, the Iowa kicker. They trail it 10-9, 1:55. It may come down to a field goal attempt here with time running out. Long to Harmon. Michigan reads it. Busted right across the line of scrimmage. Mike Hammerstein is the first one who got in there. He slowed him up. And that allowed help from his friends.
Hammerstein got a lot of penetration that time. He made his blocker miss, got deep into the backfield, and slowed Harmon down.
He makes so many big plays. You see those Wolverine stickers on his helmet? He makes so many that Bo says, for you, Hammerstein, 1 counts 10. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see your helmet. Now the precious seconds counting away on Iowa. Long is back. Waits. Drops it over the middle, complete. They are inside the 25. Mike Mallory there with the coverage. But now, of course, it is going to come down to Rob Houtland. So it's third down. Mallory goes over to the sideline. The defense wants to rest. They have called a timeout. We are inside of a minute. Gary Moeller, Bo Schembechler are the stars of that defense.
This Bud's for all you guys who know it's how you play the game.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who makes them move the way you do. Come your way.
that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
Listen, I don't know how they found out about the Saving Place sale before you did, but they're buying things like crazy. Fashion Fresh paint at $5.48, it's disappearing. Kmart antifreeze, just 2 for $4 after rebate. Gala towels, 59 cents. Halloween Junior Boss, $1.99. They can't last. As for these electric blankets, I'll hide one under the counter for you. Kmart, the Saving Place, you can't do better, but you better hurry.
The Big Ten race is hot and getting hotter. The Ohio State Buckeyes will face the Golden Gophers of Minnesota in college football next Saturday on CBS Sports.
The war of number 1 and number 2 down to its last minute. Along with Ara Parsegan, I'm Brent Musburger. Michigan leading 10-9, 54 seconds to go. It is a 3rd and 6 against this Michigan defense. And then, of course, if they fail, it will be Rob Holtland who will attempt a field goal, which could pull this one out for the Hawkeyes. But the Michigan defense has not surrendered a touchdown here this afternoon. They have given up only 3 field goals to Holtland. He has also missed one in this game. So an unbelievable defensive performance 6 games into the season. Michigan has surrendered just 1 touchdown. That to Wisconsin. Extra point failing in that game. Now it's a big play. 3rd and 6. And they run Hudson up the middle. Very close to the first down. Hayden Fry runs down to see if he's got the first down.
He's got it.
He's got it, and he goes back and says, let's keep it going. They're down now to 50 seconds.
That was a big play by Iowa to pick up the first down. They put a blitz on. Jeff Akers, number 33, missed him at the line of scrimmage, and Hudson just barreled his way to that first down.
Era, the defense relaxed for just a second when they saw that Ronnie Harmon was not in the backfield. He was over in the sideline, and they set Hudson up as a lone setback. They ambushed him, and now Harmon is back on the field inside the 15, down to the 13.
22 seconds, 21. Iowa has 1 timeout left. 15-14, they're going to let it run down to the kick.
He wants the timeout called at 5 seconds. There it is. They've got to call it. And oh, they just do get it done. I know some coaches who won't wait that long. They say once you get to 10, call your timeout and get your field goal unit out there. But Hayden says, let's take it all the way to 5. I don't want Michigan coming back with Jamie Morris returning a kickoff. So here it is. You play all afternoon, number 1 against number 2. And then you turn it over to the field goal specialist. And Rob Holtland of Glenview, Illinois, has a chance to keep Iowa number 1.
But that's not a little pressure right there. It's going to be about a 29-yard kick.
He has hit 3 of 4 already here this afternoon. And of course the field goal defense huddling over there on the sideline. Another former head coach, Alex Agassi, has worked with those special teams units along with Bo Schembechler, Barry Moeller. They will try to apply some pressure on that young man. Michigan could call a timeout right here and try to increase the pressure on him, and they do just that, I believe. Yes, they do. Michigan calls a timeout, and now Hayden Fry. He wants to talk to the field goal team. The drama continues in Iowa City.
We're not a company.
But no company has more pride in what they do.
Or more pride in how well they do it.
We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future.
One that goes far beyond the ordinary.
One that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
Night training. It never stops for Mr. Goodwrench. Cars change, he changes. He picks from over 100 General Motors service schools to stay on the leading edge of service technology. He keeps up with fuel injection, turbocharger changes, new electronics, transaxle advances, you name it. He's trained to be good. He's trained to stay good. Mr. Goodwrench, no one knows your GM car better. No one.
The first-place Cowboys renew their heated rivalry with the Eagles, or see the Redskins take on the Giants among the regional games tomorrow on CBS Sports.
For Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes, it's a nervous 2 seconds. Rob Hoatland has kicked field goals of 35, 27, and 36. Here he is attempting a 29-yarder, which would beat Michigan. It's on its way, and it's good. Tremendous moment for Hayden Fry and the entire Iowa program. When he came here, they had lost for 17 straight years. And now, with the #1 ranking on the line in Iowa City, Rob Hoatland hits a 29-yarder. And the young man from Glenview, Illinois, whose right foot sent the Hawkeyes to victory. And on the sideline, it's a hallelujah for Coach Fry. For Bo Schembechler, it's wait until next week. For only the second time in his Big Ten career, Bo Schembechler has lost back-to-back games to the second coach. The other one is Woody Hayes. We'll continue with our coverage of this drama after these messages from your local station.
This is CBS.
There are some high-efficiency furnaces on the market, but not one holds a candle to Amana. And Amana beats the competition twice with a 2-in-1 furnace and water heater, providing virtually unlimited hot water and heating your home efficiently. Amana makes gas, your best energy value, better. The Amana system heats more water in less time and can provide a monthly savings of 18 to 55%. If your monthly heating costs equal your mortgage payments, you're burning your energy candle at both ends. Amana can shed light on your energy problem.
Mount Hood, Oregon and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Mount Hood means the best summer skiing in America. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light. Old Milwaukee. And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
Man, it doesn't get any better than this.
Iowa beats Michigan 12-10. The man of the hour is Coach Hayden Fry. Hayden, congratulations. What indeed were some of those thoughts down there on the sideline of Hayden? Well, you would have to expect that it would be one of the most exciting moments ever. Hayden, this is Brent upstairs. What were your thoughts when Rob Houtland set up to kick that field goal?
I'm going to assume you're talking to me. I couldn't hear the first part except Rob Houtland on the field goal.
Exactly, Hayden, and I was saying, what were your thoughts when he set up to kick that field goal when you saw it go through?
What was I? Yeah, there's not any power on it.
Hayden Fry, because
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Now it's coming back. You asked a question. What was I thinking?
Yes, Hayden.
I was thinking, praise the Lord and forgive us of our many sins. We love you, Lord. Just help us one more time.
Hayden, this was a tremendous ball game. This was as tough as you expected it to be. You had some new wrinkles. You used the power eye. You threw out of it. You used the shotgun. You knew you had to do some different things today, didn't you, against this tough Michigan defense? Tell me about how the game plan unfolded.
Well, you know, number one, before I say anything, let me say that I want to congratulate Bo Schembechler and the Wolverines. They were magnificent, and it's just tragic that one of the teams had to lose. As far as the game plan is concerned, we knew we'd have to throw the ball in run situations. We'd have to run when they thought we were going to pass. The number one defensive team in the country today, Michigan, we knew we just couldn't come out and do what we've been doing. And thank gosh for the great effort of all of our football team, the Hawkeyes.
Hayden, this is Ara Parseghian. Congratulations on a tremendous win. And yesterday when you told us that your team had been under pressure 2 weeks ago and you won the football game, how important was that to this last drive?
I'm sorry, Ara. I know you're talking about. There's too many people making noise.
Hayden, we want to thank you. That was a great win by the Iowa Hawkeyes here this afternoon. So one more look at the field goal that meant the difference. It was Rob Houtland, a 29-yarder. And Fry's sideline reaction tells it all. Praise the Lord indeed. And Aaron and I'll be back with our final thoughts from Iowa City in just a moment.
Today, Chevrolet is merging a world of ideas for you.
It's coming now to the USA. The fun awaits for you today. Come and be a part of it all.
Today, Chevrolet is like an international auto show. Imported and American-built small cars, wagons, hatchbacks, convertibles, 3-, 4-, or 6-cylinder power. Nobody nowhere has more kinds of small cars than your Chevy dealer's international auto show.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy. Chevy. When do you say L.A.?
When I've got an afternoon of painting ahead of me, I say L.A.
Think it needs 2 coats?
Nah.
When do you say L.A.?
When it's open house and I'm the host, I say L.A.
Stu?
Bob.
Sorry.
But I'll change it.
From Anheuser-Busch, L.A. beer. Great taste with half the alcohol. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
You can say that again.
Stu?
No, Clem did.
L.A. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say.
Well, our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, we're going to give it to the Michigan nose guard, Billy Harris, because he simply represents the true grit of that defensive unit. You could have picked any man, but we're going to go right to the nose guard. They bent and bent all afternoon and still never gave up a touchdown, but it was not enough because Rob Houtland will be the Chevrolet player of the game for Iowa, and a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Ara Parseghian, as we take a look at some of the moments of this glorious afternoon in Iowa City, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I guess it's what you would expect when you would pit number 1 against number 2. The Michigan defense was valiant. The Iowa offense would not be denied. They kept coming back and coming back. Michigan would stop them. And they finally, with 2 seconds left to go on the clock, won the football game. It was a tremendous effort by both teams, and I think Hayden Fry said it well. He's the victor, but certainly the Michigan team is to be congratulated as well.
The celebration continues in Iowa, and tomorrow the action continues on CBS. It'll start at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. Irv Cross, John Madden, and Pete Rose all live. Then regional action. It'll be the Dallas Cowboys. Some of you will see the San Francisco 49ers. Can they come back? Well, We will find out tomorrow. Here this afternoon, it all came down to the right foot of Rob Hoatland, a young man who's not even practiced for 4 weeks because of a torn quadricep muscle. It was healthy enough to boot that 29-yard winner. And for Hoatland, these are the moments that he will treasure forever. It's what college football is all about.